not out. It just says no. 2 days ago, no. 1 day ago, no. 3 days ago, no.
It's probably set for like
an ago, no. 1 day ago, no. 3 days ago, no. It's the best.
It's probably set for like an auto tweet.
No. 1 day ago, no. 3 days ago, no.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, no kidding. I was like, why do I hear 3 different Martys?
I said this last week. The days I check the volume, it's muted. The days I don't check the volume, it's not muted.
I think there's a life lesson there.
Okay, yeah, we're ready to go. Let's go. We're ready to go. Let's go.
I see we're live. 5 of us in a box. There we go. Okay. All right, you guys ready? 3, 2. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 367, recorded on March 17th, 2022. On tonight's episode with special guest Hambone Johnny. Yes, we have a Hambone Johnny. Like everybody else, we discuss a few Nintendo news items, a few game releases, and a few questions from the community. Jesse, you know what to do.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's like he doesn't press those buttons every week. You're listening to Nintendo Dads. It's episode 367. It's March 17th, 2022. And if you're wondering, it's also 9:19 Central Time, and the Mario Kart 8 DLC is still not out. Joining me on the show tonight is a wonderful cast of characters. We got the whole gang here. And as Tim said, yes, indeed, we've got a Hambone Johnny, just like every other podcast that records on Thursday night. He's running the podcast gauntlet, folks. But we'll get to him here in just a minute. We're going to let him catch his breath. But joining us on the show tonight, Mr. Tim Off, OU of RGB fairy lights behind you.
Yep.
How are you?
I've captured each fairy in each of those bulbs there.
Is it like in Zelda where you have to come up and you have to catch them with a bottle, but you're doing it with very small bulbs?
That's correct. I'm using
precision work, sir.
Fairy Pokeballs. You know, whatever those are called. The wing balls or whatever.
Jesse knows.
The wing ones, right? Yeah,
I haven't played Arceus in 2 weeks, so I don't remember the names anymore.
So I'm catching them with that, and then they're clear, so I can put them up in there, and I keep them well fed, so they're happy. But I'm good otherwise. Yes. How about you, Marty?
Hey, you know what? I'm doing great. It's been a fantastic day. I drank an entire cup of coffee in about 30 seconds before we came on air. So
that explains a lot.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And by the way, is Mario Kart out yet?
Out yet? No.
Okay.
Also joining us on the show this week, all the way from the Great White North, Justin Masson. How are you, buddy?
Hey, folks. Good. What's going on? Happy St. Patrick's Day!
It is. Can I ask a question? Can I ask a personal question?
For sure. Yeah.
Did you or did you not? Can you or can you not confirm that you may or may not have had a pint of Guinness today?
Oh, I 100% did. I just came from a restaurant, actually. Yeah, definitely did.
Gators and mash.
Here's going to be really honest with you. There is a nice Irish pub in the city, and we were 5 o'clock. We're like, as a family, we're going to go to the pub for dinner, just like you would in Ireland, and have a couple pints. And we should have made a reservation because everybody was doing that. Yeah. And it was 5 o'clock, and it was like out the door. You couldn't get a seat. We were disappointed. I went to another restaurant, had a pint Guinness. It was great. As a adopted member of Ireland, today is a good day for us. So I will actually give you a piece of Irish knowledge that you can share. So if you were at a pub or you're at a house and you're having dinner, instead of saying cheers, you would say sláinte. Sláinte, and that means in Irish, to you good health or cheers.
Is that the word that looks like slainte?
Yes, Slainte, sláinte. So that is Irish for cheers to you good health kind of thing.
Okay,
because
so very common to say as well.
Very quick here. Very quickly. Mm-hmm. We're going to play a very quick game. All right. I had this prepared and I meant to do it I meant to go straight to you at the first, but I forgot.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Right around the horn. All 5 of us. We're going to play a quick game. It's called Eat or Yeet, Irish edition. Okay. So you either are going to eat these items or you're going to yeet them. You're going to throw them away.
Yeah.
All right. So, and they're all traditional Irish fare.
Yeah.
All right. So all you have to do is say eat or yeet. We don't need an explanation. We just need to know, just for everybody in the world in Nintendo Dads, all 5 of us, eat or yeet. Okay.
Got it.
First dish, corned beef and cabbage.
Eat.
Eat.
Eat. Eat.
Eat.
Eat.
I'll eat the corned beef. I won't eat the cabbage. All right.
Same.
Next one. Justin, you're going to have to explain this one to us. Green River soda.
I have never heard of Green River soda. So that is
sounds like a yeet to me.
That is one I do not know.
It's a green soda. I'm going to yeet that.
I'm going to eat that.
Yeah, I'm for sure going to eat that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna be pretty honest. I'm probably going to eat everything on this list.
Okay, then let's go to the next one here. All right. Black pudding.
Eat. Yes. 100%.
Eat.
What
And
is
for those
that?
who don't know, it's also referred to as blood pudding.
I'd have to
That's
see
a
it,
yeet.
but it'll probably be a yeet.
I will tell you, to be honest, today, what I'm going to do on Saturday morning is I'm going to do a traditional Irish fry up for breakfast, which is 2 fried eggs. We're going to do up some mushrooms. We're going to fry up some tomato. We're going to do some rashers. We're going to do some sausage. And we're going to do some.
Okay, whoa, hold up.
Hold on, I'm not done yet. And we're going to do some blood pudding, and we're going to do some toast.
I'm not going to. I have a picture of this right here.
Yeah.
And black pudding looks like a turd.
It does, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it does.
What is it?
So it is like a sausage that has actually blood congealed some of it in it, and usually has some grains and some wheat. Yeah, it's good. It's actually quite good. It's got a little bit of a. It's kind of like if you've had haggis, you're all right. You're all right.
All right. Here's the next one: bread pudding.
Yeah,
Eat.
yeah.
Oh, that's a
Yep,
eat.
yep.
That's
Yeah,
a eat.
Okay,
yeah,
next
for sure.
fish pie.
I'm gonna say. Here's the deal. I'm gonna say yeet only because I don't like fish in pie.
Yeah.
That's not a.
that's a yeet.
It kind of looks
Doesn't
like a
sound like a good
homemade
combo to me.
Pop-Tart, but it's full of peas and fish.
Yeah.
It's
I'll eat it.
that's a yeet.
I'll eat it.
Bangers and mash.
Yeah. Yeet. Or sorry, eat.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
An eat.
Yeah, that's for
an
sure.
eat.
For sure.
That's an
For
eat.
sure.
Okay. Cured salmon.
Eat.
I'm gonna say
That's
yeet
a
only because I don't like salmon. So
I don't like fish, so yeah, it's a yeet. That's a yeet. Jesse, what about you?
I'd have to see it. I'd have to know what it looks like. But
Okay.
I like salmon, but I don't know what it means. What they mean when curing it. But
Soda bread.
eat.
Oh,
Eat.
big time eat.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
done
Yes,
that.
yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
My
yes,
mom
yes.
used to make that. It's
So
delicious.
good, isn't it?
It's
So
really
good.
good.
With a
Okay.
nice soup. Oof.
Soda bread. We had some at Raglan Road when we went to Disney. So
Yeah, I mean Raglan Road is very Irish.
Shepherd's pie.
Eat.
Eat.
Oh, for sure. With lamb traditionally.
Here's the last one. Oysters.
Eat. Slurp.
I just don't like Easter. I just don't like oysters.
Prepared how? I think that's a
With some
eat.
hot
Have you had,
sauce.
have you had it
Raw,
Rockefeller
raw,
Raw,
style?
not yeet.
Yeet.
Eat 'em.
That's
Eat 'em.
something I've never.
The biggest
wanted to
yeet.
try.
That's why I said
Okay.
slurp them with some.
So-
And I will give you one. I will give you one last one, folks, gentlemen.
Stuff.
A pint of Guinness. A pint of Guinness. That is definitely a eat.
That's a
Eat.
double eat.
It's a double eat
Double eat.
with a spoon.
Double eat.
Two.
Eat.
Take 2 of them.
Yeah.
I'll eat.
So happy St. Patrick's Day, folks,
Yeah,
and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Day.
Happy
And
St.
speaking of
Patrick's.
yeet, let's yeet Justin out of the way here. Jesse Waldak, how you doing? Sorry to derail this, but
That's all right.
You're
So
you're
pretty
still
good.
there.
I wanted to tell a quick story, but that was
No, go ahead.
a while.
Go ahead.
So,
The floor is
so
yours.
I hinted during the pre-show that my family has spent a lot of my money, and it's literally almost $10,000 in the last 2 days, because my son bought his first car, so I paid for it, and he's going to pay me back over the next 3 years.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then my wife wanted a new computer, so I said, "Yeah, we can do that." So she now has a better computer than I do.
Nice.
In terms of CPU and GPU. Like she got a
So what you're saying is you future proofed it a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, I future proofed it on top of what came out of the box. It's got
Actually,
a 30
what you're saying is you're mining Bitcoin.
No, I'm not.
What
doing
you're
that.
saying is you're making Nintendo Dad's NFTs, is what you're saying.
No. But yeah, I might have slapped a 6 terabyte hard drive in there just because.
Oh my
it's good.
gosh!
Wow.
Look. If we're making Nintendo Dad's NFTs, I'm the monkey with the Mario hat. I'm just
All
calling
right,
it.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Or Waluigi hat.
Albeit that hard drive was only $100, so that was nothing compared to what everything
Nice.
else cost.
That's not bad.
Well, and speaking of NFTs, we have non-fungible Hambone Johnny with us on the show tonight. He is joining us after literally what seems like a marathon of podcasts. How are you holding up over there, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here with you guys.
You know, we came to this realization a few weeks ago. Tim said every podcast in our Nintendo Dads family has had Hambone Johnny except us.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got to have Hambone Johnny, and we immediately said yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, thanks.
Most podcasts will try to fill their Pokedex of guests, but he is filling his decks of podcasts.
Yeah.
I like it.
absolutely.
It's a great strategy.
It's
a
great.
great strategy. And speaking of great strategies, why don't we just go ahead and move on into the news, shall we?
Do it.
Perfect.
And our news each and every week is brought to us by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, where for as little as $1 a month, you can join up in our community and actually go chat live with Hambone Johnny. He has his own channel. It's called Chat with Hambone. You can go over there. He's there 24/7, ready to answer your questions. Anything you can call him up and be like, "Hey, I'm stuck on Dragon Warrior. What do I do here?" And he'll go Google it and he'll give you the answer.
It's Hambone Helpline.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot we changed the name.
Beautiful part about it as well, especially if you're in Discord, folks, it's not just video game urgencies. You know, I had this rash. I just sent him a photo, just directly DM'd him. I was like, what do you think of this? And he was like, stop shaving that close to your,
You're using
rash.
the Manscaped the wrong way.
Yes.
But anyway, so for $1 a month, you get in the Discord. $5 a month gets you all of our sub channels and things in there, as well as access to things like Monthly Mayhem and Bounty Board. And then for $10 a month, you get our pre and post show audio and quarterly or every now and then art cards. In fact, we just dropped one of those that Adam Leonard from the Mega Dads did us. Here's the hint. It's about the new Kirby game. All right. But it's a mashup with another game, which is actually pretty brilliant. And then for $30 a month, you get to be a patron of the show or a producer of the show. And that means you get to be on the show. And producers, check your email box, check your inbox. We're about to schedule your next appearance on the show. So if anybody wants to bump up to the $30 a month level, now's the time, because that's going to happen kind of within the next week. You can also pay by the year. It saves you a month if you do that. So if you're paying want to do the $1 a month, it'll actually cost you $11 and on and just build once. And we do that to say thank you. And it's awesome. But you can go over there and check that out at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. We want to start our news here with a little bit of a correction. And this is an actually. We call this the actually section. And this one's actually Jesse, you were being actually from Andros. And he says this Friday at 9:55 a.m. He said, wild mode. You said wild mode unlocks expanded power-ups in the Kirby demo. He said wild mode does not unlock expanded power-ups in the Kirby demo. Beating the demo gives you the option to play the levels all over again with powered up copy abilities. Separate toggle from the difficulty. Side note, wild mode is harder, but it's still fairly easy. And look, honestly, Zablanc said this in our Discord, I think earlier, and he's like, really, it's like baby mode versus toddler mode. And that's okay, because that's what we expect from Kirby. But
Andros coming in here, strutting around, right? Like he is.
Get him, Justin. Get him.
Listen, he does a podcast that's 2 hours long with Sean Capri on We the Gamercast, and now his tires are all pumped up. He's all walking around with a big head. He's like, Sean says I'm cool. I'm on the Nintendo Pals. Look at me giving you actually. I see you, Andros. I see what you're doing. I am coming for you. You're mine now, son.
Wow,
did say
that was a promo.
Thank
That
you.
was a promo. I'll give you that. Like does he think a 2-hour podcast is some kind of achievement?
You
That's
make
like-
it sound like we don't do that every
You know what?
night we talk.
Listen,
2 hours
for
is
you,
warm up
you,
for
that
us,
may have been a
son.
banner. For you, that may have been a banner day. For us, it was just Thursday.
Although, in all fairness, after I've now just cut him down, ladies and gentlemen, seriously, I love Andros. Go
Yes.
check out his episode with Sean Capri on We the Gamercast. It was 2 hours long. One of the best episodes I have ever heard for a long time. Love that.
Yeah.
Love Andros.
Yeah.
Love Sean. So
All of those. Go ahead, Jesse. I'm
I
sorry.
did say last week that I didn't play the demo myself. I was just going on pieces that I've heard.
That's okay.
I just got two
That's
pieces
okay.
crossed.
You don't have to play the demo. We'll tell you it's Kirby in 3D. There you go.
We got your back, Jesse. We got your
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just to echo what Justin said, Andros, Sean Capri, all those people, very quality human beings.
yeah, for sure.
High quality human beings.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the news right here. The 2022 World Video Game Hall of Fame finalists have been announced this week. Voting takes place starting today, March 17th through the 24th. The top 3 vote getters will form one ballot and will join the other ballots submitted by members of the International Selection Advisory Committee. That committee is comprised of journalists and scholars who are familiar with the history of video games. It also says the Strong says that the public will have the weight of one judge. So here is what has been nominated this year. Assassin's Creed, as in the first one, Assassin's Creed. Candy Crush Saga. Okay. Dance Dance Revolution.
I was going to say, now owned by Microsoft, or will be.
Yeah.
Candy Crush.
It's true. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Minesweeper. Miss Pac-Man. NBA Jam. Parappa the Rapper. Resident Evil. Rogue. Sid Meier's Civilization. And Words with Friends. Gentlemen, that is an interesting list. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah,
It's
and it was
interesting.
actually
Yes.
hard to pick one to
Yeah.
vote for.
It is not hard to pick.
I think
It's hard to
I
pick
had-
two. I have 2 that it's
I
hard
had-
to pick between
I
those
wanted-
2. That's it.
I have 3 I wanted to vote for.
I think the thing
Parappa
that
the Rapper, NBA Jam, and Candy Crush Saga, right,
Miss
Jesse?
Pac-Man
hell.
probably.
No,
I-
no.
I think the thing that this does a really great job in highlighting, and I kind of, I know that we're kind of having a bit of a laugh here, but I think the thing that I really like about this is just a diversity. And what I mean by that is how that video games are really for everyone, right? And that they can be everything from an open world Assassin's Creed video game, right, to Minesweeper. These
I do
things that
appreciate
that
the-
are very
I-
different.
I appreciate that they consider mobile games on equal ground as everything else.
Yep.
Where you can count a number of, on one hand, how many places will actually treat them equally.
Johnny, any of these that stand out for you?
Yeah, I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. That's probably one of my favorite series. I was a big Xbox 360 player, and when Assassin's Creed first came out, it just totally blew my mind. But from a history perspective, I know you called out Miss Pac-Man. But yeah, Words with Friends and Candy Crush, there's no denying how epic and widespread that phenomenon is, and it's still going on today. So fully has rights to be there.
I think it's interesting to look at this list, and I mean, there's only a couple of them that I can argue with that I would say, okay, no, those few, and by few I mean like 1 or 2. Those few have not had a monumental impact. There's so many on this list. And maybe it's just because I don't like them. I think all of them, I will say this, I don't know what Rogue is. I don't at all.
Rogue.
See, that is one of my 3 that I wanted to pick because it is literally genre defining.
Yep.
The
Is
term
it
roguelike,
the original roguelike?
yes,
Yeah, that's where the name comes from.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm looking this up when this came out, 1980. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
it's like an old DOS-based dungeon
It's a
crawler. type of thing.
Unix-based mainframe system. Yeah. I'm just reading off the Wikipedia, but it's also known as Rogue Exploring the Dungeons of Doom. and it was different every time you play. So yeah, I mean, like I totally get that. I'm drawn toward several of them just because for me they are games that stick out in my mind as games I would still play. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're right, Justin. This is a great list of everything, right? Like there's something here that represents every genre.
Well, and I think, yeah, as you look at nominations and, you know, and here's the way I'm playing this out in my mind, right? The nominations happen and like, I don't know, Words with Friends or Candy Crush or something like this gets accepted, right? Or is able to come in. It's going to show up in some like news article that mom and dad are scrolling through Facebook. And then they're like, oh, well, that's a game that I play. Right. And there might be a moment of like, oh, well, I guess, do I identify as a gamer? Are games for me? Right. Like, I think anytime that we think about how games can become more approachable and more people playing them, whether they're mobile phone games, right? Whether they're simple games like Words with Friends or Wordle or any of these, just like, these are games, right? And we're engaging in community and we're looking for research and answers on Twitter and we're connecting with people. All the thing that games do is they bring us together, right? Or they connect us or we take enjoyment out of them. So whether it's a mobile game that seems silly and crazy to an open world adventure game like, you know, Assassin's Creed that kind of like changed the genre, right? That really, really introduced that idea, or something like Ocarina of Time, which for us was all mind blowing. We have memories as children. These are all critical in the narrative of like what video games are in our culture and our society. And if we want to continue to move the pendulum towards, I'm going to use the word normalizing video games, right? Because you're a 45-year-old man and you're still playing video games. And you're like, yeah. And there's so many of us that do, but and you probably do, but you don't identify as a video game player because you don't have the latest Xbox, but you have your phone and your iPad. Who
are saying that, I would say, and you play Wordle every day.
Yeah, but I mean, like that's the idea.
And I fully expect to see that game.
Yeah, for sure. But like we shouldn't be pointing fingers, but rather these are games and these are things that we do. And by the way, you are a gamer, but you don't identify yourself. You don't think you identify yourself in the same way. But to be able to say these games are on the same like impact as these other things, I think helps to normalize that and helps to bring people in. Tim, I see you're wanting to bring in here, sir.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, read that wrong completely. Yep,
yeah.
Thank you.
No,
appreciate you.
So does anybody else have any comments about these games or one? Let's just say this. Which one do you hope wins?
I'll just say I had 3 games in mind. You know, obviously Ocarina of Time because I'm a Nintendo fan. You know, we already talked about Rogue, and the other one is Minesweeper because that was a game that I played the hell out of back in the Windows 3.1 and Windows 95 days.
Okay, Hambone, what about you?
Yeah, I'm in the Miss Pac-Man camp.
Okay.
Yep, same here, Miss Pac-Man. Because
the game whose origins is a ROM hack of Pac-Man, an unauthorized ROM hack.
Yeah.
Just
but I can also appreciate Rogue, obviously being you know, the defining game of a genre.
Thank you, Rogue, for Enter the Gungeon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Justin, what about you?
You know, it sounds funny. I'm going to say Candy Crush. And I'm going to say that because my wife is like addicted to Candy Crush. This is her game that she goes to every single day. It's one of the things that like we're watching something stupid on TV and she's crushing it. And that's her like release. So I hope that does well.
My son has recently picked up this game, which is interesting. I was like, the other day he's sitting there and I'm like, dude, are you playing Candy Crush? He's like, yeah, don't judge me. I was like, I'm not judging you. I just think
sounds like a teenager.
Sounds like he's the one doing the judging.
Yeah, this may surprise some people and listeners of the show, but for me, I want NBA Jam to win because NBA Jam was the first sports game that made sports fun to play.
Nice,
and I think that it had a very genre breaking, genre defying appeal to it. Like if you ask me today, hey man, you want to play a game of NBA Jam? Yes. Absolutely. I'm going to play it because
I've got a question for you, Marty.
It's accessible and it's fun. Yes.
Is it the shoes? Come on.
The shoes in NBA Jam were stellar.
That's what the announcer goes, is it the shoes?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, see, I totally flew over my head. All I remember is boom, shakalaka. You know, like you're breaking the glass. You know, I also remember that from the minute that you press start and put your initials in, it was, how quick can I get to the Chicago Bulls? Right? Because Jordan and Pippen, and that's it. How quick can I get to the? And then they had the NBA Jam Tournament Edition that came out a little bit after that, and they changed the roster, and it was. I
think that was like the beginning of the real. To your point, though, Marty, I think that was really one of the kickoffs to the current with the way we look at sports games.
Yeah. Right.
Like it really helped kind of make it a little bit more fun, make it a little bit more off. Kind of.
Well, sports games up to that point had been very. They were either very limited, like Tecmo Bowl. Like, Tecmo Bowl is a great game, but it's like it's 2 buttons, right? That's probably what makes it so good, right? It was either very limited or very simish. Like, it's like it's very technical. And this has nothing to do with that. It's like, can you fly through the air and helicopter dunk on, Michael Jordan and break the glass backboard while fire is shooting out of your fists, and and by the way, you if you put the right code in, you're also Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Right.
So many quarters.
Yes. So I would love that to win. I think, but I think Ocarina of Time is going to win it. I really do. I think it's like the kind of like the easy softball pick, but I think that it's won so much, right? Of course, it could be. They could surprise us, and it could be.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think like something like Assassin's Creed is in that list now. Like, and not from a wow, that doesn't deserve it, because I think it does, but more like that still feels like young, if that makes sense, in relation to the other games.
15 years old.
Yeah,
that we're talking about.
I think.
Yeah.
That's still PS3 era, right?
Mm-hmm.
The original.
Yeah. I also think it's interesting on that note, Justin, that Parappa the Rappa is in there, like representing. And Dance Revolution on representing rhythm games, but no Guitar Hero.
Hasn't
because and maybe it has, but here's the thing: like Parappa has always seemed to me like a very niche title. Like it, like you people either really really love it or they really really hate it. Like it's weird.
But Parappa the Rappa was just kind of before the whole rhythm music game.
Yeah, it was PlayStation 1.
Yeah, like it kind of like it wasn't in that like, hey, look, it's Rock Band or Guitar Hero mode, but it was just a little bit before that may have in some way kind of actually like been the seed of that kind of that premise a little bit. I could make the same argument for Ocarina of Time and the flute, right? So potentially.
Sure. Well, we're going to be getting our inductees ready for the Nintendo Dads Video Game Hall of Fame as well coming up, so stay tuned for that. Also, just want to pass this along. It's 9:45 Central Time, and the Mario Kart 8 DLC is still not available. It's okay.
Excellent.
It's okay. That's why I'm still focused. A couple other things that we wanted to mention this week is 3 new SEGA Genesis games were added to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack out of the blue. And no, it's not Sonic 1. I still don't understand why Sonic 1's not on there. Light Crusader, Alien Soldier, and Super Fantasy Zone have been added to Genesis. This happened Wednesday night, like last night, just out of the blue. It's like, hey, yeah, by the way, there's 3 new games.
Yeah, and that was the dinner and saw like Twitter feed spammed it.
And that is the first update to the Genesis app since it launched.
October.
It's the first new games. So when did we get these last November? Correct.
It was either, I think it was late October or November.
Late October, November. So Nintendo 64 has gotten a lot more love than this. And I will tell you that I have never played Light Crusader. I've never played Alien Soldier, but I'm super excited for Super Fantasy Zone. That was always a game that I wanted to play when I was a kid. I don't know why. It was like I would see it in EGM or I would see it in GamePro.
Super Fantasy Zone sounds like an inappropriate part of a video store.
Have you been in the Super Fantasy Zone again? Get up here.
Right?
We are reading Forrest Gump again, and you are going to like it.
Exactly. With the shady kind of saloon doors and people are walking by it.
The curtain that falls down.
Yeah, for
'cause
sure.
It's just a shower
And
tension
you're
rod.
trying to you're trying to nonchalantly look over there when you're a kid or something.
You know,
Super
can I-
fantasy
I'm going to
zone.
be honest with you. My, to my knowledge, my video store growing up, Video Vision, by the way, in Dixon, Tennessee, which is long gone now, but is the place where I discovered Earthbound because they got it. And the racks that they put their games in, they would put the boxes in there, and the box, was gigantic because it came with the strategy guide. So it wouldn't fit. And they were like, what are we going to do with this game? There's no way we can rent it out. So, and they like, my dad and the owner knew each other. So they would let me try games before they put them out on the shelf sometimes. And they're like, do you just want to buy it? And I was like, yes. And they sold it to me for $30.
Nice.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. They were just like, kind of like, we're recouping our money. But that is, Video Vision is not where I discovered the adult section, is where I discovered my love for pro wrestling, because I rented SummerSlam 1993, Undertaker versus, or no, 94, Undertaker versus Undertaker. They had the video, and I was like, oh, I want to see this. I had no clue who any of the people were. That I rented it.
Sorry, was that in the adult section?
No.
Oh, I thought that was where your story went. You went.
It was in the pro wrestling section,
Okay.
Justin.
I was like,
I said I didn't discover the adult section. I discovered my love for pro wrestling.
Sorry, I thought you said.
weren't listening.
I heard you say I discovered it in the adult section, and I was like,
No.
That's what it
man,
sounded like to me too.
they are different kind of wrestling, and they are putting those videos way wrong.
And that's a spicy take.
Yes.
Also, this week we learned that Monster Hunter Rise, the Sunbreak DLC, will be released on June 30th. There will also be an upcoming Monster Hunter presentation. Or was that during the presentation?
That was during the presentation.
That was during the presentation.
Yeah.
That was during the presentation.
was
Sorry.
Monday.
Yeah.
And we got new
I don't pay
amiibos,
attention
too.
to it because I don't like those games. But anyway, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak DLC is coming June 30th. It's going to be a very substantial update to Monster Hunter Rise. Yeah, it's out there. It's coming. And there was just you could have just tried Monster Hunter for a solid week and seen if you liked it, but now not anymore. They got you. They got you. It's like, oh, you could have tried it, but now there's new stuff coming out. Yeah. So anyway, that's all our news for this week. It's pretty light. Pretty light. Let's take a break and hear from our sponsors.
Hey, folks, big thanks to our sponsors, Manscaped, who continues to support Nintendo Dads. Now, ladies and gentlemen, March Madness is here right now. Now, not everyone can have a perfect bracket, but you can have a perfect set of balls this tournament season with our sponsorship today with Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming that have just launched the Ultimate Premium Collection to give you the total championship hygiene routine. After sweating out the games, make sure you lather up head to toe with this all-in-one skin and hair care kit to have your body and balls smelling Final Four fresh. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Go over to manscaped.com and use the code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Again, that is NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. This is a Cinderella story you're not going to want to miss. I'm going to tell you guys, Manscaped sent me over some more gear recently, some more body wash, some more.
I was going to say thanks to Manscaped for sending us over.
They always send us great stuff. I literally a couple days ago, I was, everyone has their morning routine, right? So I hit the shower and I'm using like literally the Manscaped body wash, and I was using the 2-in-1 shampoo, and I got out, right, and put on some ball deodorant, put on some under the arm deodorant, and I looked around and I was like, if Manscaped had toothpaste and hair gel, my morning would have been completely Manscaped locked in. Yeah. So those are the only two products that I use for my routine that are not Manscaped products, but I absolutely love them. And I think you will too, guys, folks. Again.
Yeah. So I was going to say, this is the brand new Ultra Premium collection they sent us over. It's body wash, shampoo and conditioner, body spray, deodorant, and 3 lip balms, which the lip balms are really, really good. Yeah, Tim already knew that. He'd been using this for a while.
Oh yeah.
And you can get all that for $45, which is actually $60, almost like a $65 value. And if you use our code, even more. So Justin, what's that code?
NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Big thanks to Manscaped for their continued support of Nintendo Dads, allowing us the ability to do this kind of crazy dumpster fire of a show that we do. So thank you, Manscaped. Back to you, Jesse.
Right, we got a quick breaking news from Nintendo Pals saying that, let's put the scroll off, Hogwarts Legacy has been confirmed for Switch on their website.
What?
What? Really?
Hold up. I'm heading to the website right now.
If that ends up being not correct, you know who to blame.
Actually, Andros.
Hang on. I've got it. It's coming up right now. Nintendo Switch logo at the bottom of the page. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC.
Any cloud-based asterisks in that, or?
At this point, no.
Gonna have to be.
At this point, no. But yeah, if you saw that footage from it today, it's probably.
I did. Yeah,
it looks amazing.
I've been really looking forward to that one too, and I've jokingly told my wife, I said, out of all the Sony games that would make me buy it, whatever comes first, like God of War, Ragnarok, or Hogwarts Legacy. Honestly, it looks really cool on there.
When they showed the initial reveal of this way back when, like my wife was watching that and she looked at me and she's like, okay, you can get a PS5.
Yeah. I'm sorry. This is gonna have to be cloud.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way. There's no way there.
Yeah, it looks that, but that's why I thought that's why we were all surprised. Like, what?
So this is,
but it's got to be cloud.
For those of you who are wondering what this is, it's kind of a prequel to the Harry Potter universe set in the 1800s. It's basically Harry Potter meets Bully. If you've ever played that Rockstar game, Bully.
Okay.
You get to make decisions that are going to change who you are. You get to pick your house. You learn spells, potions, grow plants. You can tend to beasts, you can fight, you get sorted into a house, relationships and master skills. And yeah, it's going to be epic. I can't wait for this game. Very surprised.
Nintendo Everything Twitter surprised. Already has a tweet saying Hogwarts Legacy Switch pre-orders are on sale for $52.07 on Amazon.
Yeah, it's coming. It's y'all, this is holiday 2022.
That's
what they said.
Cart.
Yeah.
If it's on a cart, it's not going to be streamed.
Wow. Can we just go ahead and say very lovingly as Nintendo fans, it's going to be severely compromised. If you if you want the full experience of this game, you need to play it somewhere else. I'll be playing on PS5.
If it's the only place to play, then go play it there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Unless let me back up and say let the reviews come out first.
Yes. Or if you prefer to play it on the go, which is very tempting.
Yeah, that's true.
If it's passable and playable and still fun, then I'm almost willing to play it on the Switch as well.
Sure.
So
does that have a release date,
especially cross progression, if it has the ability to cross save. If I can play it on my Switch, and then if I'm home sitting on the couch and want to play it and can, play my Xbox or play it on my Xbox or on the PlayStation, I'll buy it. I'll buy it twice I'm
gonna make two potential predictions. Prediction number one: this will inevitably actually be a cloud game, despite what Amazon's box listing currently says. All right. Number two: if it's not a cloud game, this game is going to get delayed for Nintendo Switch. It will come out on every other platform, and you will see a tweet 8 weeks beforehand saying, we are excited to announce that this game is going to come out, blah, blah. We're excited for fans to see it. However, the Nintendo Switch version requires additional time to process. That is...
Hello, Life is Strange collection.
Yep, that's exactly it. So if it does indeed being a cartridge, it's going to be delayed. If it's not a cartridge...
where is that, by the way?
Life is Strange...
True Colors is out, right?
True Colors is out, but it was delayed by almost 6 months for cartridge version. And remember, the actual you could get it in December, but you couldn't get it on cart until February.
Right.
Yeah.
But the remastered trilogy or 2
got delayed.
Is delayed, and it's out there with Fall Guys hanging out in limbo.
Hanging out with Fall Guys and Outer Wilds. Like, oh, maybe.
The Amazon page has a placeholder date, so we don't know when it's going to come out.
Okay.
This is interesting too, because again, I was saying this when they first showed it, that it seemed like it was going to be, to me, the way it was being presented was going to be PlayStation 5 only. But now that I think of it, I think it was supposed to be also coming to Xbox. But I thought it was supposed to be next gen only, at least. So I was like, that's what would get me a PS5 is between that and Ragnarok.
The Amazon page shows Switch, PlayStation 5, not 4, but Xbox One and Series X.
Yeah.
So
and on their site, it says PS4. PS4, yes.
Okay.
So now because it says that, then it's like, okay, then why do I need a PS5 again for?
John, you interested in this thing?
Absolutely going to play this. I love Harry Potter. Read all the books. I actually recently watched the most recent Beasts movie. I forget the exact.
There's a new one coming out. Soon.
There's a new one coming out soon, which reminded me I hadn't seen that second one. So yeah, I love everything Harry Potter. So totally playing this.
I want to point out a game that we missed during the game updates. This was announced this week on the Xbox Indie stream, but it's also coming to Switch. Did you guys see Wrestle Quest?
Yes. That looks amazing.
Turn-based RPG based on 80s and 90s WWE wrestling. You play as Macho Man Randy Savage.
Or Jake the Snake. I saw Jake the Snake in there. Well,
Jake the Snake's, I think he's like a supporting character, right? Yeah. And Andre the Giant. I cannot wait for this game.
Right.
Like all the moves that you're doing are like actual wrestling moves on the enemies. It
looks crazy.
The video for this dropped, and somebody tweeted me or texted me, and they were like, "Yeah, have you seen this? You need to go watch right now." What's that?
I think that was me, but I don't remember.
I think so. I think it was, and like at first I was like, "Oh man, it's just Xbox," and then it is coming to Switch. So it's supposed to be, from what I read somewhere, day and date with Switch. It's coming this summer. There's no official date for it, so again, a placeholder. But this is one that I'm going to be setting some time aside for.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes,
a lot of fun.
Yes,
it gave me a big like golf story vibes, at least from the presentation.
Yeah, the presentation did have a lot of art that looked golf story-ish. Or I also caught like a Scribblenauts vibe in some of it.
Oh yeah,
maybe that's. Hey, we've got a question to discuss. So, Jesse, why don't you hit that music? All right, guys. So here is the question. So would you rather? I have a feeling this comes from Tim. Am I right?
Yes,
you always come up with good questions. I like this.
I posted it to a lot of our podcasting friends and our own family of podcasts. So
okay. So it's our turn now.
Yes.
It's our turn. So here it is. Would you rather? And John, we're going to start with you. All right.
Sure.
You're the guest, so we start with you. Would you rather go back in time and play one game with your kid self? And if so, which game, what system? Or would you rather go back in time and show off a system to your kid self? If so, what system, what year, how old would you be?
So interestingly enough, for my recent podcast tour, I've already answered this on Retro Logic a couple of weeks ago, but I will stick to my guns with my answer. And it was going back with my kid self and playing a game with them, not showing them something more modern. And the reason being is to kind of relive that nostalgic like moment, first person. I think that I would just get a lot of enjoyment with that. Part of me thinks if I brought back the Switch, would I just be setting myself up for 20 years of disappointment? But yeah, so I'd probably go back, and it probably would either be like Super Mario World, the year I got that for Christmas, or Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. But I'll go Zelda because I think that it is one of my favorite games. So I'll go with the Legend of Zelda.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Jesse, what about you? Go back in time and play one game, or go back in time and show a system?
So, I don't like to play multiplayer games now, and even as a kid, I didn't care for multiplayer games. So I would choose to show off a new system to my kid self. But, I grew up Atari and television, NES, so I've seen the evolution of game consoles from damn near the beginning. So, like N64, maybe even later Super Nintendo, I thought, these graphics, how can graphics get any better than this, right? So go back in time, show them the Matrix experience demo on Xbox Series X and say, oh no, you've got a ways to go, man.
Nice. A good answer.
I like it. Justin.
I think I would rather go hang out with myself and play some 2-player games together and just kind of watch and just also kind of be like, hey, this thing that you're sort of kind of being nerdy about and people are picking on you about and kind of seems a bit weird. Yeah, it's gonna be all right.
Gonna turn out okay.
It's gonna turn out okay for you, and you're gonna have a bit of fun with it. So, you be you and just lean into it a bit more. Also, here's a cheat code for Konami. Right, that's kind of what I would do. Also, here are 5 games that I think you should purchase right now. I don't care how much you have in your allowance. You need to go buy these games, and you can't sell them. You just hold on to them. Hold on to them, and in 2022, you and I go and be millionaires, son. So, also, quick news update, ladies and gentlemen. It is 9:00, and Mario Kart is not out.
So 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, not out. Unless, can you guys check on your own side? Because my side, I don't know if it's maybe just verify.
Sure, I'll check on that.
It's not out.
I hate you so much.
I'll check in the Eastern.
Neither
Daylight
in Canada
time.
or America is Mario Kart DLC out.
For those who didn't get the joke, we discussed on pre-show that I do not own the game. So obviously I can't check that.
Does not check.
And that was a pretty hilarious conversation too.
Of course you don't. It's like, anyway.
Yeah,
but
we
it's
just
very
talked
on
about
brand.
that 5
Jesse,
minutes ago.
Jesse, it's very on brand for you. I'm not going to lie. It's totally on brand. Tim, what about you? Go back in time and play with kid or show off the system?
I would go back and show off the system. And the reason being is because my family is the reason why I love technology, because it wasn't just, parents and stuff like that, but it was my grandparents who were heavily into technology. And my grandpa would come home because he was an engineer. He would come home with a lot of the latest and greatest stuff because he needed it for work, or at least that's what he told my grandma, I think. So, but he would
totally have what he told her.
Yeah, he would come back. He would have he was the first person I saw with a car phone that you got in the bag, that would be in the center of the car or whatever. And then so on and so forth from there, just, the cameras, the laptops, the big, huge projection TV things, that took up big space in your room. So, or in their family room. So, but one of the things that I really liked as I got older that he was getting into was a lot of the handheld stuff, like iPacks. I don't know if anybody remembers those. Those were like the HP's Palm Pilot competitor devices, but Palm Pilots as well, all those kind of things. And
the Palm Pilot.
Yes. So I always thought those were cool. And that's why I always loved handheld technology. So I would go back and show the Nintendo Switch to my younger self, like 13 and 14 years old, and just show off, look, this is, you thought Game Boys were awesome, and Game Boy Pocket was awesome when it got smaller, and the Game Boy Color and all that, but just wait until you carry the console with you, playing this Mario Kart, on this thing, and then being able to connect it to the TV. So that to me would blow my mind and just, be awesome.
I'm sorry, I'm hearing people in the background pick Mario Kart tracks.
Yep.
Doing what?
Anyway, I think my answer for this is going to be and it's gonna be to go back in time and play a game with my kid self. But it's gonna be for a different reason. And one of the reasons is this. It's easy for us to go through our kid years like that and not really have an awareness of how we were during that time, like how we came across and different things like that. I would love to go back and see how much of my son is like me.
Oh yeah.
From that day, from that time. I have suspected that if you've been listening to the show for any piece of time, you know that my son's on the autism spectrum. I have wondered and questioned a lot of times if that some of the issues we've dealt with him is also things that were not caught in me when I was little, because you just didn't talk about that then, or it wasn't diagnosed like that then. And so I would love to see, because I remember being the kid who I could not understand in 5th grade why everybody didn't want to read Nintendo Power in their free time.
Right.
I just couldn't fathom. Why would you not like video games, weirdo? And it was all I talked about. It was all I thought about. And I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, look, I almost failed 5th grade because I was tracing pictures of Mega Man out of Nintendo Power on tracing paper. Like,
you had your priorities set. You had to trace that.
I had, some kids get knives confiscated or toy, or whatever. I got Nintendo Power magazines taken away from me at elementary school. That was me. And
your
so
story reminds me of a story from my elementary. At one point I got a subscription to Family Computing magazine, but before I got my own subscription, I would check out the magazines in our school library. I was in 4th or 5th grade. And I got to the point when I would actually put in a request to reserve for when the next issue came in before it came in. So
I totally get it.
Yeah. I remember sharing an EGM in science class because it was talking about the new Super Nintendo that Nintendo was going to come out with to compete with the Genesis. And I was like, totally saving money for that.
I'll tell you guys that one of my greatest regrets of being a gamer is that I had an entire the entire run of Nintendo Power magazines that I had from the 80s and early 90s in a coffee table that opened up. And one day I was like, I just don't need these anymore, and put them all in a garbage sack and threw them away.
I had the set somewhere too, and I don't know what happened to it.
It was in a toy chest my grandfather built for me.
And guys, I'm talking EGM magazines from when they revealed the Super Nintendo, when they were saying it's coming, and it's going to have the 4-button controller, and it's going to be yellow, green, blue, and red. They're showing the prototype of Super Mario 4 at that time. All that stuff. I remember I would just take them and I would obsess over them. I knew when games were coming out. I knew what was they're developing Super C for the or Operation C, whatever the Contra sequel was called. I knew all about it because I had those magazines. I read them constantly. They were what I did. I would want to go back and for the game, y'all know what game I'm going back and playing. You know what it's going to be. 1988 or 89. It's going to be It's either going to be Mega Man 2 or Super Mario 3. It's one of those two. And I don't even have to play it. Okay. I would just want to sit and watch. That first moment, those first moments of discovery. That's for me, those were life defining moments. When you feel I've got this far in this game. I will never forget the day that y'all, and this is deep. This is Marty deep dive right here. I'll never forget the day that I called and got my dad out of a meeting, a high level meeting at his office, to tell him that Dr. Wiley was an alien. And that
that's important.
I was
there you are with the priorities.
I made it to the end of Mega Man 2, and they found out Dr. Wiley is an alien. I haven't beat him yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
He was like, why did you call me? Same thing we do now with our kids when they drone on about Minecraft for 5 hours, right? It's like, why? I don't care. I don't care that there's an axolotl in Minecraft. Please hush. Awesome question, Tim. Awesome question. We would love to know your answers out there. So tweet us or email us. Let us know, which would you rather do? Go back and play a game with your kid's self, or go back and show them a system and blow their mind and set them up for future disappointment. With that being said, let's talk about some events. Tim, tell them.
The dinner table. Of course, it comes tomorrow night, third Friday of the month. Our community gets together at the virtual dinner table. And we get together and talk about whatever's on everybody's minds. And, you know, there's times where we think we're not going to be talking about much, but then we end up until 4 o'clock in the morning. And so, but no, it's this week is a month is going to be a show and tell get together, essentially. That I thought it would be cool if everybody could get together and just kind of show off any of their cool things they might have in gaming or collectibles or whatever. They can get on and show off their kid if they want to, you know, I don't care. But I thought it would be fun to get together and do that kind of thing. And plus I think we're going to be talking about some Obi-Wan Kenobi too, in speculating about that. So, so yeah, again, it's every third Friday of the month at 10 p.m. and that would be 10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time just this month. So make sure you got your clocks right. And plus we'll probably be playing some Mario Kart in the background. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're doing that too. So
yeah.
So people have already been talking about that.
I wish I could join in with this one. This weekend is my daughter's ballet. And so I'm going to be tied down.
Yeah, I know it's tough for some people on Friday nights.
I say that like it's going to be like, oh, I'm tied down. I just hate this. Now I'm excited for her.
Right.
It's going to be an extremely
got your priorities.
long weekend. It's going to be an extremely long weekend this weekend.
So, yep. And to get on at the dinner table, essentially, all you got to do is be a subscriber to Twitch or our Patreon.
It's literally cheaper right now than going out to eat. You can come
cheaper
to the
than gas.
Oh my gosh. Don't even get me started with that. I wish I was one of those work from home people right now.
My son filled his first tank yesterday. It was funny. He goes, "It's $40."
Right.
You know, can I just give a shout out real quick to moms and dads who have kids our age and they're still doing nice things for you. I went up to see my dad for his birthday last weekend and he was like, "Son, do you need a tank of gas?" And I said, "Yes, I do." I would be glad to have that. I would be glad to have that. And he took me to the gas station and he took the liquid gold tap down and put it in and didn't ask for anything. You know what we got him for his birthday? You know what he wanted for his birthday? There's another slice of life, deep dive, Marty family thing here. We got him a Waffle House gift card.
Wow.
Nice.
I see some judgy looks there. I'm not gonna lie.
No, that's awesome.
I'm not judging.
I wish there was a Waffle House near me.
I don't know what a Waffle House
there
is.
isn't one.
Okay, so Waffle House, Justin, when you think of like when you look at or when you're watching a movie or a show and they have like a Greasy Spoon diner,
yeah,
it's a chain of Greasy Spoon diners in America. They're sometimes. Is it
kind of like IHOP?
It's like
a step down from IHOP.
Look, a Waffle House is a place where you can go and get a waffle and some eggs and stuff, but you may also see a drug deal or a fight while you're there. And you will probably be called honey by the waitress or waiter, you know.
I would so go there and sit at the counter and have a good breakfast.
Yeah. And let me tell you this, Justin, this is for real information right here. FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency in the United States, when they judge how bad a meteorological disaster is going to be or a natural disaster, they have a secret scale. This has been confirmed. Secret scale called the Waffle House Index. And it's literally, did Waffle House close or not? If Waffle House closed, then it's bad.
Okay. All
Seriously.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the restaurant as much, but the youngest daughter loves it, so we'll go occasionally for her. And Thanksgiving afternoon, we want to eat something, but before our big meal.
It's not turkey.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, but all the other restaurants are closed because it's Thanksgiving.
Not Waffle House.
Not Waffle House. They're open.
Their employees don't get to enjoy Thanksgiving, so that you don't have to eat leftover.
Where do you think Walmart and GameStop got the idea?
But yeah, listen. Waffle House is a fantastic place. Sometimes confused with, but not equal to, Huddle House.
What's Huddle? I feel like I don't want to ask this question.
No, a
I've never
Huddle
heard of
House.
that one.
Huddle House is like the same thing. It's just called. There were two different chains.
Oh, do they
Huddle
also
House
sell
or
waffles?
Waffle House.
Does Huddle House also sell waffles?
They sell the same thing. It's just Huddle House and Waffle House.
Is
I've
there like
seen
Carl
both.
Jr.'s and Hardee's?
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like that,
Sounds
but
like
they're
it.
not owned by the same people. Carl's Jr. Hardee's, same people. Huddle House, Waffle House, two different.
So
two
it
different
sounds like for this will be a great cut for our UK fans, our EU fans. Sounds like Lidl, and Aldi, which are literally the same shopping markets that were owned by, like, brothers owned one company, and they decided to have a falling out. So the other brother said, "Fine, I'm going to create my own shopping market," and it was the exact same shopping market. Like, everything is the exact same.
We have Aldi too. That's where we
Yeah,
go.
we have
Okay.
Aldi too. We don't
Okay,
have
so
We don't have
Lidl is the other one, which is like they're identical. They're identical.
You have to put a
See, I was
quarter
told
in,
that the brother
shopping
owned
carts
Trader
for Lidl.
Joe's.
I don't know if the brother owned Trader Joe's for sure, but yeah,
That's
like
what
that was
I've heard. But
Lidl and Aldi.
Mario Kart DLC is still not out. Let's move on and talk about Jesse's PokéMinutes.
Do we have to?
Pika Pika Pikachu.
I hate you all.
The Lush Jungle event will start on March 22nd at 10 a.m. through March 29th at 8 p.m. local time. Cottony will be appearing more often in the wild in parks from March 26th at 10 a.m. through March 27th at 8 p.m. local time. For the first time in Pokemon Go, Cottony can be shiny. Fomantis, the Sicklegrass Pokemon, and Lurantis, the Bloom Sickle Pokemon, will make their debuts in Pokemon Go. The guardian deity of Akala Island, Tapu Lele, will also make its debut in 5-star raids. That is all of the Pokemon Go news for the week.
Robo Jesse, shutting down.
That's what I wanted it to
Yes.
sound like last
That
time.
was
I
amazing.
didn't.
That was so
I
good.
love it.
And I had the wrong ending queued up, but that's the right ending.
I love it. With that being said, let's talk about what we've been playing, shall we?
Before we start, I think Justin looks like he might have comments on what he just heard.
First, what was the first line the robot said? Something about a lush jungle. I just really think we should have transitioned off of that to Manscaped ads. I think that was the first thing.
Yeah,
That
it's
really came
called the
to
Lush
mind.
Jungle event.
Called the Lush Jungle Edition. Yeah, I felt like we should have transitioned off of that for the Manscaped ad. I wish
I wonder,
I could see that.
Oh
can we have
my.
Robo Jesse read a Manscaped ad sometime?
Oh my gosh. Can we tailor a Manscaped ad to Robo Jesse?
Yes.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
we should work
Even
on
though
Robo Jesse
I do
for
not
that.
have.
Although I am not anatomically correct.
Anyway.
Body
Wow.
wash is great for my squeaky
Hambo
gears.
Johnny, you know the drill here. We let our guests go first and talk about what they've been playing. It does not have to be Nintendo related because mine's not going to be very much
great.
this week. So let it rip, Tater Chip. What you been playing?
Great. I love it. I love being a tater chip.
So much going
Yes.
on there.
So I've got a few games this week that I've kind of just bounced in and out of. So I tried F-Zero X. I don't think I played that back in the day on N64. So I played a few races of that. That was pretty fun. We'll see if I go back to it. Now that Mario Kart's out, maybe not yet. But I have been playing some Mario Kart.
We're waiting.
Just to get myself back and used to the game, the controls. So just like riding a bike, love that game. So excited for the DLC to drop any minute now, maybe.
Checking. I'm checking again.
Yeah, come on, Tim. Let's make it happen. I'm still playing Mario Golf here and there. That's the one cart that I keep in my Switch when I don't have anything else going on. So I played Shelltop Sanctuary the other night, just before bed type of thing. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever stop playing that game until the next Mario Golf comes out.
I have a feeling about that too.
Yeah. Tim, because of you, I'm still playing Retro Bowl. So yeah, I popped in when you were kind of showing off that game a few, probably over a month ago at this point.
Yeah.
I've played 18 seasons of Retro Bowl, so I'm like super deep into Retro Bowl. I've done all the achievements. I've won my 10 Retro Bowls with San Francisco, my favorite team. So now I've left San Francisco and taken a job with the New York Jets and trying to bring them.
Congratulations.
Bring them to the promised land from the land of obscurity.
Right. Nice. That's cool.
So I'm loving that game. It's super fun. I also saw there was a quick clip that I think Nintendo dropped the other day about Kirby in the Forgotten Land in terms of you can do like a dodge and a flurry attack with the sword. So I popped back in there to try to do it, and I couldn't figure out how to get that done. I don't know if you guys have attempted that or played the Kirby demo since, but yeah, I don't know if it was because I went back in with the upgraded power-ups or what, but yeah, anyway, wasn't successful, but anyway, that game's fun and looking forward to it next week. But the other game I played this week was a first look I did for you guys, Ashwalkers. So that was pretty fun. Not something I typically would play, but gave it a shot. It was a survival story-based game. Really cool presentation, black and white, which kind of leads into the theme because it's a post-apocalyptic like story where I guess there was some sort of volcanic disaster. And there's like little segments of clans here and there, and you're trying to traverse the land, maintain your 4 party members. And the story elements were actually probably my favorite part of that. How you can have decisions to kind of go left or right. And, like one of them was, do you want to go left and where you see like large animal footprints, or do you want to go right where there seems to be some sort of civilization? So I think there's like a lot of replayability with that. And the survival piece of things, you had to maintain their food, their warmth, and their health. So it wasn't too deep in terms of systems. So it was a nice blend of what they kind of had there. So it was fun. I'll probably keep playing that here and there.
John, did you ever play The Long Dark?
I have not played The Long Dark.
Okay, I was wondering because it sounds very familiar or very similar. It's again a survival game where you're in a plane and you're heading up north. Actually, it takes place in Canada, northern Canada. The plane crashes and then you have to survive, right? And Long Dark is obviously the darkness in the winter there, and it's surviving it's managing your heat, you're staying warm, your food, trying not to bleed out, like this kind of real individualized survival of trying to manage all those elements. So just curious if it was comparable, but it sounds like there might be some pieces there. This now Ashwalker is a team of several people, right?
It's team. Yeah. You're a team of four different people. So it seemed interesting. There's 34 different endings I read. So yeah, so it's very deep. And I think every decision you make has sort of an impact on where you end up. So it sounds like you can finish the game too if not everybody survives. I think you just have to have one person survive. But I'm sure that leads into the different endings and whatnot that you could have. But where I've been spending most of my time over the last 2 weeks is with Elden Ring. I am deep into Elden Ring, about 40 hours in. I think that's about halfway through the game, and I am getting my what kicked like constantly. I don't know how many times I've seen that you died.
Can you scale this? Because I'm not going to play this game. I've already decided. Like I've already been through the FOMO stage, like where I felt like everybody was playing it like en masse, and like I need to buy it, and I successfully played. I bought. We got in Far Changing Tides, and so I had a new game. So that kind of like I quelled my urge there. But I'm still curious. But I also know that I don't like Dark Souls. I don't
Okay.
like any of those games. I like Demon Souls. If it says Souls in the title, I don't like it. All right. So,
Mhm.
like, I probably need to stay away from this game, correct?
Yeah, you do. If you don't like Souls, and you know you don't like a Souls type game, you should not play this. It's punishing, but rewarding at the same time. If you're able to kind of fell one of those major bosses, it feels good. It's got a good gameplay loop.
I've heard somebody say that it's not as hard as other Souls games, like that they let up just a little bit. Do you feel like that's true?
So I actually haven't played any other Souls games. This was, you know, unlike you, Marty. I saw the hype train and I'm like, I'm running to chase it down. Like, I'm jumping aboard. Let's go. I think part of what makes it a little bit easier is that the open world aspect. Like, if you're getting your, you know what, kicked, and this is not an area where you should be, you should, you know, bail and go back to a spot where you can level up, get some more currency so that you could add some stats to your character, find some new gear, and then go either try that same area again or venture out and try to find something new. So I think that's where folks are saying it's a little bit easier. I don't know if the combat is necessarily easier or not. It seems pretty similar from what I can tell. But yeah, it's a really, really fun game. It's easy to get lost. They give you very, very limited direction. They kind of just give you a very short tutorial, which you can miss if you're not looking for it. And they just set you off into the world. And the first enemy you run into is not one you should fight, but you do it anyway because he's big and shiny and in front of you. And like, I'm going to smack him with my sword. And then he smacks you down real hard. And you realize very quickly what kind of game this is. And you have to approach combat very, very carefully. You have to, you can't get mopped by enemies, even if you're very overpowered. You know, two, 3 hits from a few enemies will like knock you down. So you have to play this very strategically, but it's really fun. You can almost the way they build it out is you can kind of use magic or melee or a combination of the two, which is kind of the route that I'm going down. So that you can have some ranged attacks, some not. There's bow and arrow. There's various ways to play this, which I think is, you know, really fun. And I've seen a lot of people already start to kind of have 2 or 3 or 4 playthroughs on Twitch even. So
I saw
those people are crazy. They're crazy.
Can I say that I saw a spicy take on Elden Ring? Just browsing through the Twitter machine the other day, that somebody made the claim that using magic was cheating in the game.
If the game allows it, it's not cheating.
Well, I understand that. And many people said, the game allows it. It's built in. It's a mechanic in the game. And the guy was like, no. You have to do hand-to-hand combat. You have to have combat. Anything else is cheating. What do you think about that, John?
Yeah, I think that's a bad hot take. It's part. I don't think that's cheating at all. Like, sure. Are you not going to get hit as much if you stay ranged? Yeah, but you're giving up a lot of stuff. If you're purely a magic user, there's a whole, you've got to manage your magic bar. You've got to find these spells to start. Some characters don't have magic. So, I don't know. I can see their point a little bit in saying like, oh, you're kind of playing it on easy mode. I would maybe call it an easy mode as opposed to cheating. But no, I don't think that's a valid comment at all. I think that's a crock of, you know what?
Well, I agree with that. I agree. To me, that it sounded like that word that gets thrown around a lot, gatekeeping.
It's awful. It's okay if a game is not for you, or if you want to play a game a certain way. Like me personally, I'm using a guide if I need to in this game. However you need to get through a game, however you're enjoying it, that's how I look at gaming. We talked earlier about gaming's for everybody. So however you want to do it and you're having a good time with it, more power to you. Enjoy yourself.
Right. Yeah. I 110 billion% agree with your comments. Very good.
Thank you.
I'm glad you've been enjoying the game. Glad for everyone who has.
Yeah, it's a really good time. If you're even slightly interested, I would definitely recommend it. Maybe wait for a sale if you're kind of on the fence. But yeah, it deserves all the praise that it's getting. Maybe not quite a 10 out of 10, but it's up there.
it's interesting to me how those 10 out of 10s rolled out so quickly at like before the game even came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my understanding they actually had a really short review cycle for that too. Like my understanding was they only had like 2 or 3 days before when they got Elden Ring before it was live, maybe.
Yeah, and even if you can't beat it in 2 or 3 days unless you're playing constantly. Like I'm 40 hours in, and I think I'm about halfway.
Well, I think there was a lot of like reviews in progress, like Tamor saying from GameSpot. I think had a review in process. I think IGN's was review in process. Like it was a lot of they did not have a lot of time to get their original stuff.
Yeah, I know it's tough. It's hard to review a game if you don't play it to completion. But I understand. On the flip side, you've got to kind of manage that and get reviews out on time. So
yeah,
I'm fine with the scores that it got. I'm totally fine with that. Because of the fantasy critic game.
Yeah,
you have ulterior motives.
Absolute worst.
I know.
Absolute worst.
On that, Justin and Marty, you guys got to get in there, make some pickups.
Hey, I'm trying. I'm really banking on what am I banking on? Sea of Stars. I'm really banking on, and I'm really banking on Mario and Rabbids is what I'm really banking on.
But you still have holes. You need to pick games and fill those holes.
Yeah, you still got to pick some more games.
Yeah, Wrestle Quest.
I know Wrestle Quest was probably going to be mine. You
got to bid for it, I'm sure. Yeah, because the draft only gave you like 6 games, but you have 10 slots to fill.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay.
But, that's it for me, guys.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's head over to Tim. Tim, what you been playing there?
All right. So I've been playing 3 games. I haven't had time to play much. The last couple games I played was with Jesse, Sam from the Retro Logic crew. He joined in, and who else joined us, Jesse? Who else was it? Spider Shan. He joined in too.
Yeah,
so.
I couldn't remember, but yeah.
Yeah, so we played Chocobo. We tried to play Chocobo GP, and that was. And so here's the story. I went online. I didn't even try to play it or anything like that. I had everything loaded up to talk about the game. And one of the things I had loaded up was the website. And the website said that you could have Chocobo GP Lite and join in multiplayer online with people who had the full Chocobo GP game. So because I had the site there waiting for a couple days, it hadn't refreshed. That page was saying that up to that point. So I'm like, hey, who's going to join me? All you need is the Lite and all that kind of stuff, the Lite version of the game, and you can join me and stuff like that. So Jesse got in on it, and Shannon did too, and Sam did, and there was a few other people, but they couldn't join at the time. But then,
and this whole experiment was live streamed, so you can see it.
Yeah, everything was live streamed, and I hadn't touched it until that point. We went live, and I was like, okay, let me figure out. Let's talk about the game. We're gonna figure out this. It's a first look, right? So that's why I did it that way. It was gonna be a first look. So we're jumping in. We're trying to figure things out. We're trying to figure out how they can join. I create a multiplayer race. They can't see it. They try to go into the multiplayer and it says they can't. So I tried to invite them directly through the friend way. And it when they went and tried, I think Spider Shan was the first one to try, it wouldn't let him. It said he had to buy the full game. And I was like, wait a minute, this says that they can join online. And we did a little more research. Obviously it wasn't happening. We were all getting frustrated, and it didn't turn out well. So, because it was just like a lot of Jesse, you could probably talk about it too. From your point of view, you were just like, be one thing or the other. Buy the game, you play the game, or pay a subscription and play via. They
basically have mobile game free to play like mechanics in a $50 paid game. No.
Yeah.
Can I say something here?
What's up, Marty?
So when this was shown off, I crapped all over it.
Yeah.
Admittedly. Who's right now? Somebody got mad at me. You're not even giving it a chance. I don't have to give it a chance.
Here's
this
the weird
is
thing.
nothing. Listen, this is a grift, is all it is. It's sick. It's stupid. It doesn't need to exist. Bottom line,
it's a sequel. It was supposed to, I thought it was a sequel to all the other GP games or Chocobo racing games and stuff.
No, Tim, I'm going to tell you what this is. This is a test to see if this crappy mobile gotcha system will work on home consoles. That's exactly what it is. And the more money that people throw into it, the more Square Enix is going to go, yep, it works. We're going to make
this is why
one.
I'm glad for at least us and people like us who don't like that kind of stuff. We tried it. We displayed it live on stream, just how unhappy we were about this whole situation. So basically we were done with that after trying to figure things out. And then later I found out too, that they actually updated their website and it did say that the light game does not do the multiplayer online. So
you can do the
GP local
mode. You can do the GP mode online with randos, but not with your friends.
Not with your friends if you had the light version. Or you can join in on local. So if I had Sammy play, he could come and join in if he had it downloaded.
And maybe I'm being a little strong on that, but listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't like I number one, didn't like the theme of the game. That's I guess is number one. Number two, somebody asked me this week, okay, when they revealed the tracks that were going to be in this first pack of the Mario Kart DLC, and I said, this was my comment, looks great, too much tour.
Yeah,
and
I got
a lot of pushback on that because they're like, oh, you don't like Mario Kart Tour? No, I don't. I think it plays like crap. And they're like, but this is what Mario Kart should be. No, Mario Kart should be when I'm about to play, when this content drops. Now, if you want to add in some of the missions and you want to add in the costumes, great. But the number one reason I don't play Mario Kart Tour is because I can't make the cart go where, there's times where I'm playing and I'm doing what I'm supposed to with my thumb and the cart doesn't go where it's supposed to and it costs you the match. I don't like that. I don't like to be out of control. And I also don't like gotcha anything. I don't like the nickel and diamond. Hey, you got to buy rubies to get this character to do the blah, 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 blah. No.
That's the frustrating thing about it is that you pay $50. Now, thankfully, we didn't have to pay for it. I didn't have to pay for it. Square Enix did send us the code for it to check it out. So I was able to get the full version of it through that code. But that's frustrating to tell people going in. It was like, okay, we got the code. I got the full version, but you have to go spend $50 to get it. But you still see all this gotcha stuff. So that was the frustrating part. But I will say this, the limited time I did spend with it was interesting. And Sam also mentioned some of the time he spent with it too, was that there's some elements of gameplay there that are good. There's some good pieces to it to where you can, upgrade your stuff. There's a story there. There's some Easter eggs for Final Fantasy fans or previous fans of the GP games, of the Chocobo racing games. So there's stuff there. It's just, I felt I couldn't go back to it or felt like I could enjoy it because of, like we said, the gotcha stuff there. There's an ulterior motive there.
Jim Sterling, who was notorious for crapping on games that he doesn't like, obviously crapped on the monetization, but he said he likes the gameplay. And when we said we liked the gameplay when we could play it.
It does look good. It looks like a competent game. The problem is that more and more we're seeing good games get buried under terrible mechanics.
Yeah, that is the problem. Yes.
And it takes and the thing is that when we buy those games or when we continue to put money into those games after we buy them, that encourages more of this shady behavior.
Yes.
And so Like, whereas I really can't gripe about it with Mario Kart Tour because Mario Kart Tour is free. I could choose to do the gold pass if I want for $5 a month. I did that for a little bit. I did,
and that was my
for
point when
me.
we started this. If you want
It wasn't for me.
free to play mechanics, make the thing free to play.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is just really scummy. And the thing is that we are a good number of people are very quick to forget the very scummy things that Square Enix does kind of on a regular basis just because they make Final Fantasy.
I don't forget.
And I think there's got to be a place where they're held accountable.
Yes.
Yeah, and so, some places in the world, treat take into account the microtransactions when they rate games. As a preventative from having kids play a game that they end up stealing mom's credit card and putting $5,000 on it.
Yeah,
right.
The United States is not one of them. The thing's rated E10 plus.
And can I tell you why I think this is a bad idea? It just ultimately is, look at the furor and the hubbub going around about the Wii U and the 3DS eShop shutting down in a year. There's a ton of digital content that's just going away.
Yep.
And one day, Chocobo GP is going to be the same. I mean,
Yeah,
guys, look, Mario Kart, we're excited about Mario Kart DLC tonight, right?
Yes.
2014, we played Mario Kart 8 for the first time. I'm still playing it again now in 2022. Who is going to be playing Chocobo GP in
right now?
years?
Not me.
Yeah, well,
no
one in 8 hours.
Nobody.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my point. Is that I don't know.
Unless you're true. Well, again, Sam played more of it, and another thing I wanted to point out was that he did say there was some similarities he felt with Diddy Kong Racing that he liked.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So again, there's some good game mechanics there that I just didn't feel like I could take the time with because of everything else going on in there.
I want to bring up a couple of things from the chat here. Our good friend Ebucel says these comments stuck out. He says, just let me buy the game or let it be free. The other thing is, look at the stupid Crash Team Racing where they patched in loot boxes.
Ugh.
And then he goes on and says this, and this one hurts. This one's personal. He says, just imagine when Fortnite shuts down, but I spent $90,000 on all those skins. Spent a year's salary on making sure that I had the pixie wings and the gold shovel.
Right. And I think Shannon, Spider Shan, he also predicted that eventually in a few months that this game will go full free to play.
Oh, sure.
And then
they're just trying to recoup some costs right now, right?
And then those who pay for it will get some bonuses or whatever. And then
they'll get Cloud.
And then,
or what's his face from Final Fantasy?
Yeah, I think somebody mentioned Cloud. Jesse, I think it was you that mentioned Cloud.
Yeah. Tim, I'm sorry I stepped all over that.
I'm sorry.
This game, I don't know why this game infuriates me. It just, I don't know. There's something about it.
Set a fire in Marty. No,
that's
why I wanted
to every time.
That's why I wanted to bring it up. Because I asked Jesse, I said, did I bring this up in the last week? And he said, no, we played this Friday night. I was like, okay, I'll bring it up.
Okay. We'll save it for when Marty's on.
And Justin missed this entire conversation. It would have been
right.
His input on this.
Right. John, what's your question?
Yeah. sorry about that.
It's okay.
The microtransactions, do you need them to play the game, or is it just like cosmetic stuff on top?
Here's what they do. So have you seen the mobile games where they have 2 tiers of rewards? You know, you'll get this tier for playing it, but you will only get the second tier if you buy the Super Pass.
The season, yeah.
That's what they're doing here.
Got it.
So in order to get Cloud, you have to buy the Super Pass and then get to level 60. And then and that's not even maximum level. And then Squall is a reward for doing something as well, but probably also involving paying for it. So you don't have to, and then so you get, they have like 3 or 4 different types of currencies that does something. I don't know. I didn't care to look, but the more you play, you'll get more of those currencies, and if you buy the Super Pass, you'll get more of the currencies.
There's Mithril and there's gold and Gil and Vegemite and all kinds of different currencies in there.
Yeah, save that Vegemite.
So
That's
yeah,
a yeet.
needless to say, yeah, I haven't played that again since, but I haven't been able to play much else on the Switch other than F-Zero X that we did play after that.
And then my joke, while we were still on our call after we stopped recording, I uninstalled it and put a picture on Twitter of me uninstalling the game. I'm like, and I'm done.
Here's my experience with Chocobo. Delete. So, but yeah, when we went off the call for Chocobo GP, when we went off the stream for that, we were like, hey, somebody, I think it was Andros actually, who suggested, hey, why don't you guys play F-Zero X? And I didn't see it until after we stopped the stream. So I was like, I asked everybody who was still, Jesse, Sam, and Shannon, hey, do you guys want to play some more? Let's try out F-Zero X. And so I fired up the stream again, fired up F-Zero X, and that played even though I sucked at it, it played a lot nicer in, all 4-player NSO.
That worked surprisingly well, a 4-player multiplayer.
While I was streaming. So, so it worked out very well.
If you can keep the car on the track, how many times did we went, whoop, died?
Yeah. And actually a lot of people, I got a few comments in our YouTube channel about what I could do better, because I was like, I'm new to F-Zero, so I didn't know what to do. And somebody was basically saying, let off the gas, let off the A button.
Why would you do that? Full speed ahead. It's like,
I want to go. Yes. So I will try to jump into it again, because I want to. That's a game that has eluded me for a long time, and I like the good racing games, so I want to try it again.
Yeah, and I had to update my N64 game set, because I hadn't done it since I played and crashed on Paper Mario.
Yeah.
But I had the Japanese version and the North American version next to each other, and I'm like, I don't know which one's which.
There's no differentiation there.
It's the same icon, and you can't tell by the name. So I picked one and I hoped it was right. It was the right one, but that was a fun coin flip game.
Nice. Yeah, that was fun. We laughed a lot too, because like Jesse, first race, you jumped off the track and you were done.
Not even a lap. And
right.
It's not like Mario Kart where Laika 2 will pick you up and drop you off again. Nope,
right.
You're done.
You're done. You're off the cart. You're done. Or off the track. You're done. And I just kept bouncing off the walls, like, because I'm just holding down the A button, just go. So. But again, it's a lot of fun, and there's some strategy there, definitely. I want to play around with it at some point. So, and then I just last night I actually was able to play Tunic on via the cloud, the Xbox Cloud or Game Pass Cloud, whatever they're calling it these days. So I fired up Tunic, got pretty far, and I know that Jesse, you played it, Marty, you played it. I think Justin's played a little bit of it, so I'll save some more conversation there. But I will say this, that from my perspective, so far, I'm really enjoying what they're doing with it, especially with how they're using the game manual. I think it is really cool.
Yeah.
So with that, I'll pass it on over to you, Marty.
I have come into possession of an Xbox One S that I am going to officially just use as my Game Pass machine, because I'm already paying for Game Pass for the Xbox that we have in our student ministry room at church, and so I'm backpacking off of that. Nice. And so I went in there today and I downloaded some games I was interested in. Tunic was the very first game I downloaded and spent about an hour with it. I think it would be easy to compare this game to Death's Door, based on its controls and the game mechanic itself and the difficulty, because it can overwhelm you if you're not careful. I think you can get a little charmed by it and then all of a sudden you're dead. But it is a love letter to Zelda 1. And I love that. I had a conversation with John Blanco over on Twitter, asking if it was a ripoff or a love letter. And I at first I said, kind of looks like a ripoff. It was based on a comment of a press kit that sent out. But now that I've played it, like I feel a little bit better about it. So yeah, I haven't invested enough time to say anything about it. I just got the sword, so that's opened things up for me, but I died right after that. And I was like, yeah, I
will
probably
say
need to go do
this.
something else.
I will say this. One of the things that I've learned that helped me, and I've only died twice, and I've rung the East Bell. So if that tells you anything, I've made it that far with only dying twice. And it was I died twice because of my own mistakes, because of being a Nintendo player.
Mine was totally my fault.
Being a Nintendo player and the action button being the A button on a Nintendo console, and with Xbox, it's the bottom button. So instead of the right button. So anyways, it's just a matter of doing that. And I kept blowing up fire bombs on myself because of that, because like hit the A button. That's where the fire bombs were. And I actually launched it and I caught myself on fire and I'm dead.
See, I never found those bombs. Justin mentioned something about bombs too, and he hasn't even rung the bell. So I missed something somewhere.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So there's we can talk more about that if you'd like in the after show. So the post show. But one of the things is that I want to mention that it's helped me a lot is the timing between hitting somebody and dodging. I actually got an achievement for it. I forget what it's called, because it was like what do they call that?
Yeah, I got some perfect dodge or perfect something.
Yeah, you get a
I don't know how I did it or what I did.
Perfectly executed a special technique. So it's basically you're jabbing a couple times and then you roll away when they make their move, once you know what they do. So, and basically I was able to avoid, like I had all kinds of creatures around me trying to attack me, and I was able to kind of, because when you do dodge, anything that happens in that path won't hit you. So you avoid any kind of hits. So I've been able to get through some tough battles because I was able to do that. Plus that firebomb helped me with people with shields.
Even one of the manual pages explains the iframes bit.
Yes.
In its weird way.
Yes. And that's the other thing too. But yeah, with Jesse, you said you were having trouble with the shield creatures. I used the fire bombs for those ones.
See, I don't have them yet. So
yeah. We'll talk about where I'll give you an idea where you can find that.
Gotcha.
Sorry to interrupt you, Marty.
I did. No, I did. I was just gonna say about Tunic. Like, I love the how simple it is. Right? It's just simple. It's really laid back. And even the music. So I appreciate it for what it is. But before I talk about what I've been playing, I wanted to go over to Jesse and let him talk, because I'll just cap it off. And hope that Justin returns. How about that?
Okay.
So Jesse, it's all you.
So I've been doing the game sampling that Justin usually does, which normally means something happened and I didn't like it for one reason or another, and I moved on.
Right.
So, well, also on Xbox, I played Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy because that hit Game Pass. I played all of Chapter 1 and just the beginning parts of Chapter 2. And I mean, well, I'll explain that in a bit. And I liked most of Chapter 1. I didn't like the combat. And of course, that's normally where I don't like games. But especially that last kill room, when they teach you the huddle concept, of course I mess up the huddle. So I'm the only one who gets a power up instead of the entire team getting the power up. But when that's done, then there was a flying sequence. And I could not tell you if I was doing anything worthwhile or not. I felt like I could have just sat there, put my controller down, and I would have still finished. I don't know if I was doing anything. I could fire, I could move around, but I don't know if I was doing anything. And that doesn't feel good.
See, when I put Guardians, I felt like the combat was really satisfying, being able to tell the other people what to do and them actually do it and it be effective on enemies.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten that far, as part of in terms of combat. I did a lot of that.
But I will say this.
With the environmental.
If you thought that room, that kill room was bad, you would have hated the end game, because the final lead up to the final boss is just, it feels like wave after wave after wave, infinite enemies is what I mean. It's like,
well, I know I'm not going to get that
wearing
far.
you down, and it's not infinite, but it just feels like, oh my gosh, this could have been over with 30 minutes ago, but it's artificial extension of the game time for fights.
Yeah, and then of course the very first thing you do at the start of chapter 2 is there's a bit of a story sequence when you're talking with Nova Corps, and then out in the middle of it is quick time event. So I died 3 times before I got the first one done. I get the second one done. There's like 5 seconds of story, and here's another quick time event, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Because that's not fun for me. I've never don't. It's right in the middle of a storyline where there hasn't been quick time events before. They just all of a sudden throw it at you. Normally I put the controller down when I think it's going to be a long story sequence. So yeah, obviously I'm not ready for a quick time event. So yeah, that kind of put another bad taste in my mouth. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to go back to this. So then, we talked a bit about, I played Tunic about an hour last night. I think where someone in the Discord says I'm close to getting an item that'll help against the shielded people, which is probably my own shield. I don't know. But I know I don't have a shield yet. Okay, some Switch games I tried. I think there's a musical story, which is just kind of a simple, laid-back rhythm game. You have this arc, which covers either 2 beats or 2 measures or 4 measures, depending on the tempo and what song's being played. And your inputs they say it's L or R, but really you can use like any button on the left D-pad, and any button on the right face buttons, and it works the same. So I was playing that in handheld mode, just using the Joy-Con, and I'm not sure how far I got in, but I played it maybe half an hour. But things started getting awkward a bit when like they would have, because like I said, the arc can be 2 measures or 4 measures, but there's no indication of where the measures are. So like if you have a sequence of quick note, long note, and then there might be a rest or two, a beat or two of a rest in there, and then you have to then start again either on like count 3 or on the half note after 3, after not having anything for almost a measure. You don't know when it is until it happens. So it's, at least with Guitar Hero, you have the track coming to you, so you can see it coming in real time. Here, there's literally nothing indicating when you got to push it, because the plus side is if you fail a loop, you just start the loop again. But it's frustrating to fail like one of the last notes in the set that you're not expecting to fail, and that results you to fail the first note in the next loop, which means you now have to wait for that to go through again before you can even try again. So I think with a few UI tweaks that could make it smooth out some of the problems I have with it. But again, that's probably a game I'm not going to get back to. Hold on one second here. I'm sick of this post-COVID cough. It's been around for about a month. Okay, I also picked up, this came out last week, called An NPC's Odyssey. It's I kind of like where this starts. You're in an like a regular type of Dragon Quest like RPG world, but you are not the hero, you are an NPC. So things that where a hero has things a hero can do, you can't do. Like go into anyone's house and sleep in their bed to rest up, or go into your house, someone's house, and steal their gold and potions off their shelves. The hero can do this, and there is a hero in this story, and the hero does this. The hero does it to you, and that pisses you off, and that's what triggers this whole adventure for your character. So
That's funny. I like that.
Yeah. So, like the hero gets a party of 4, you get a party of 4, just these weird characters. But I get to a part. So so obviously, what starts the story off is the hero steals your gold. So you have no gold. So as you're exploring
Doesn't
your
sound
starting
very
area,
heroic.
right?
Keep stealing your stuff.
So as you're exploring your starting town, you find the merchant that says, "Oh, we can buy some armor, a sword here, but you have no money. Are you poor or something?" They're calling you out on that. So,
Sorry to interrupt, Jesse. The tracks are live.
It's
and,
11:03. The tracks are live.
Tracks
Yep.
are live.
Midnight Eastern. That's kind of when people estimated it.
Yep.
All right. So I went through the game, found my party, and got to an area where I just got smacked because I had no gear because I didn't have money to buy gear before I got to the second town where I could actually buy some. So I tried multiple ways around it. This is only like 10 or 15 minutes into the game, so it's not like too big of a deal. So I finally had a loop where I decided I am not leaving the starting area until I am well equipped myself. And just to be safe, I bought extra gear so I can give it to my party members. Ended up that was a waste of time and money on my part, but it did level me up. So I was able to then build my party, but because I never looked at what my party had as an inventory. They already come pre-equipped, but they won't take a sword because they have these sticks because they're magic users, not a sword user. So I bought extra swords for nothing. And all the other extra gear I bought, they already had equipped. But since I was finally equipped and higher leveled, we were able to get to the next city and progress the story. Ultimately got to an area called the Else Castle, where an event happens and that battle is just stupidly hard. And I don't know if I even want to try it again because I would think I have to grind more in order to have a chance. But like my characters have between 500 and 1,000 hit points or so. This enemy was doing like 12,000 damage to me, but then occasionally resurrecting me and healing my party. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Anyway, so I don't know if you're familiar with RPG Maker type games. I think this was made in RPG Maker because while the overworld is pixel graphics, but the battles they use stock, still, almost photorealistic type of art. I think those are assets out of RPG Maker. So it's a weird game. I think it was maybe $15. I don't think it was too expensive. And then the last game I want to talk about came out today, completely out of nowhere. Didn't have any fanfare leading up to this until Nintendo was tweeting the hell out about it this morning. Called Shredded Secrets. The reason why this is kind of a special game, you can say. Have you heard of a group called Girls Who Code or Games That Code?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
So there was I think they said in 2018 the 4 girls who made this game in their during their hackathon like game jam.
Yeah.
The prototype that it turned into this game was the winner. So these are like teenage age participants, so not adults. So people just starting out in programming. So yeah, I understand there's going to be game isn't going to be very polished. It's not going to be great, but but still there's it's only $5. So again, I'm not expecting much out of this either. But still, there's a few things that happened that I'm not happy with. because obviously, in order for it to be published onto a Switch, other people had to have their hands on it. It had to have been QA'd. They had to have finished the game. They could have put a little bit of layer of polish on it. So the game is ultimately a story, like an anti-bullying theme in the story. Like you have 4 characters you play. I've only played as one character so far. I've only gone through 2 levels. And you go through avoiding the bullies and the obstacles in the classrooms, and you're trying to get out. You do have a health bar, but I never lost my health to know what happens. And then there's some collecting items you pick up. But the first thing I try to do when I launch the game is to pick up my gamepad and push buttons. And nothing was going on. I looked at it and it was shut off. The game does not support gamepad.
The game does not support what?
I mean, the Pro. The game Pro.
Oh, okay.
Pro.
So you have to play it with Joy-Cons or handheld mode?
Yeah, that's still a complex question. So the next thing I try to do is pick up both Joy-Con. Nope, that doesn't work either. The game will only accept one Joy-Con as an input, not both.
Oh,
So
wow.
you have to play it with one Joy-Con single.
That's weird.
Now, if you're playing it in handheld mode, then both Joy-Cons work as you expect. So, like, this game will work on a Switch Lite just fine.
Interesting.
But you can't use both Joy-Cons the way you want to use both Joy-Cons. You have to use it
But let's be fair. These are teenage girls that coded this.
Well, again, I think they coded at least the original prototype. I don't know how much if they themselves finished the game, but other people had their hands on it. Other people could and should have said, "Hey, why don't we let other controllers work?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are just, as far as I know, literally a checkbox in the compiler. Do you want this controller to be used? Yes.
Yeah, it's like it was a choice to say,
Like,
yeah, when you go,
they have to go out of their way to exclude this stuff.
right.
I would.
Like, no, let's just make one Joy-Con when they take it off work.
Anyway, so
uncheck everything else.
Weird.
So again, I only had about 20 or 30 minutes into this game before we recorded. So I am going to put more time into this. I want to I don't think this is a long game. I want to see at least what the story is of the other characters. I'm wondering if, like the one character I did play is complaining specifically about this one other boy who was being a bully. I'm kind of wondering if later on you get to play as that boy and get his side of things about not saying that what he's doing is a good thing, but at least give insight about why he might be doing what he's doing.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know if that's the case or not. I'll probably know more next week, but next week.
So I got a question. Going back to the NPC Odyssey thing, you said that was made in RPG Maker.
I think so, yes.
Have you ever created a game in RPG Maker or anything similar?
I've never created a game, but I have downloaded like the RPG player and downloaded other people's games.
Okay, yeah.
And those art assets looked very similar.
Okay.
At least the style.
Gotcha. All right. Cool. I guess that's you, Marty.
That's it for me.
Can't hear you, Marty. Can't hear you.
Your mic broke. Well, Justin's back.
Justin, what have you been playing?
Sure, great question. Thanks for that, Tim. I appreciate it. What have I been playing? I'll give you a quick overview of 3 games I've been playing. The first one is Aztech Gods. Came out last week. Aztech Forgotten Gods. I'm going to be very honest with you. I was a little bit disappointed in it. It felt actually a little broken. There were some spots that definitely had some jank in them, and I felt like a lot of the time I was really fighting with the camera, which is unfortunate because I think this game, the concept of the game is cool. The kind of the culture that it's based in is super cool. I like a lot of pieces of it, but I think they need to put in a patch I was saying to somebody before, I said it felt like it's a game that still needed about six more months in the oven potentially.
Can you hear me now?
To really be
Yes.
baked. Yeah.
Okay, great.
To really be baked properly. So
there was not a day one patch.
There was not a day one patch. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to confirm right now Mario Kart is available.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
said
did
that
that
about
while
5
you were
minutes
gone.
ago.
Oh, well, screw you guys. Screw you.
Well,
Actually,
like
about 10
10
minutes
minutes
ago.
ago.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the other game I've been playing that is a game I'd say maybe a miss or watch for a sale and wait for a day one patch. The next game I'm playing is Young Souls. Young Souls is out now. It is a side-scrolling beat 'em up RPG. Has some really cool accessibility options for kids, especially like the characters are like teenaged orphans and they curse a little bit. And actually, I'll be honest, the cursing feels a little bit of out of place, but it's good. Well, it does not good, but like it makes sense for teenage kids, but it just feels a little bit like maybe you're a little bit more than you need to be. But there's an actual option that you can turn that off, which is kind of great. And you can actually turn down the difficulty level, which is great. So making it very accessible for players to jump in and out. This is a very fun game. Young Souls, I would highly, like if you were like Justin, I got money, I'm buying a game. What am I buying of the day? Young Souls would be the one I'd highly recommend. I'm enjoying it. I think I've sunk about 8 hours into it.
Also in Game Pass.
Yeah, it's also in Game Pass. Really enjoying it. Check it out there. I apologize, not 8 hours in that one. There's something else. I've sunk about 3 or 4 hours into Young Souls. Really enjoyable. It's hard. It's challenging, but it's kind of got that hook of like, I'm going to go back in. I'm going to go try it again. I'm going to go some skill trees. I love the art style. If I'm being really honest with you, it's very cool. And the heroes are redheads, which is super rare. Good for diversity. I appreciate that. The other game I'm playing, and I think I saw a little bit of this as I was sitting in my car waiting for my wife to come out. Tunic, out on Xbox. I know you guys have talked a little bit about this. I love this game already. I've been really enjoying it. This is so much fun. Here's the statement I'm going to say is I wish it was on the Nintendo Switch right now. Mark my words, this will be on the Nintendo Switch by the end of this year. This is very similar to Death's Door. They understand they have a banger here. They understand it's going to help draw Game Pass numbers and people are going to, buy the standalones. That's going to happen. But I bet you by the back half of 2022, in that November, December period, you're going to see that Tunic's going to arrive on the Nintendo Switch. It feels like it would be at home, be perfect being portable. I've been playing Tunic on Xbox Game Pass, and I've been playing it using my Backbone controller as well. So I'm going to really devote.
I say July. It'll be.
You think so?
By July.
Yeah, I think
It's going to be in the E3 sizzle reel.
I think it's going to be announced in July. I don't think it's arriving until the end of the year.
Okay.
So that's
because I'm going with the Death's Door time frame. It was 4 months after it was out on the Xbox and it became available on the Switch. It was 4 months.
I thought Death's Door was Q1 of 2021 and it came out Q4 of 2021 for Nintendo.
When I looked it up, I thought I saw it came out in July of 2021. And then we got it 4 months later on the Switch.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to verify that. But yeah, I mean, heck, I'm not going to be unhappy about that. You know what I'm saying?
Nintendo Switch on November 23rd.
Yeah, July 20th. It was released, it looks like. Initial release date.
Okay. All right. So I can be wrong. I can back it up every once in a while. Just before someone comes in here and says, actually, Justin. Yeah, I'm not dealing with you, Andros. I'm not going to have that garbage in my house. Those are the 3 games I'm playing. So if I was to rank them, Tunic is my number 1 right now. Which I think, again, you can play on Game Pass, you can play there. So if you got that, do that. It'll probably come to Switch. Young Souls is worth your time and your money. Again, that is a Game Pass game. So if you got that, jump in there and give it a shot. If not, it's reasonably priced in the eShop. I think it's just around $20 USD. And then Aztech Forgotten Gods, that is a pass for me. I'd recommend maybe a day patch, maybe. But I also I'll actually say for Tunic, Young Souls, and I think I called it Young Bloods, but Young Souls and Aztech Gods. We do have videos on our YouTube channel, so you can check it out as well to help you make the right buying decision with your hard-earned money. Those are the games I've been playing. Yeah.
We've already talked a lot about Tunic. I'm playing it on Game Pass, and that's one thing that I wanted to emphasize is that there's my list this week is a lot more non-Tendo heavy, because that's where I've been playing a lot of games. I've turned that Xbox One S into a Game Pass machine. It's coming to my house. I downloaded a lot of games for it today after confirming some things as far as whether it would work offline and things like that. So I'm excited for that. So
to be honest,
is one.
Tunic, funny story, folks. We ended up getting a review code for Tunic. Short end, my PC couldn't run it. So I literally have Tunic saved or redeemed on my Xbox profile to a device I don't have, which is an Xbox. But Tunic just about is a game that I'm like, this may make me pull the trigger on an Xbox. That's how much I have been enjoying it. So
can I tell you that I've seen an Xbox Series S, like the digital one, like at least 3 or 4 times at Walmart, over the last
they're everywhere now.
Month.
Yeah.
They're starting to become more available. So they're out there.
Costco's pricing one up here, or GameStop up here is pricing them at $380 right now for Canadians. So it's just about $300 for Americans. So
sounds about right.
So since downloading that, I've also been playing a game called Skull, the Hero Slayer, which is it's a roguelike.
John approves.
I love that game.
Platformer, like kind of RPG elements, but you play as a skeleton who is going to rescue the Demon King from the clutches of these humans who are trying to wipe out all I guess skeletons and evil. So you're kind of playing the bad guy, but not really. Like in this case, the humans are the bad guy. But the unique element of this is as you go through the different levels, you get different heads that you can put on that transform your skeleton into different, basically job types. So I've been a Dark Knight, I've been a samurai, I've been an ent, I've turned into a tree skeleton. And it's really fun. The presentation of it is super charming. It's super, I wouldn't say it's super difficult, but it definitely keeps you on your toes. One of the interesting things about it is when you die, when the enemies kill you, they get experience. So the enemies level up if you die too much.
Wow.
It's but you get helps too. So I put about an hour into that today, just checking it out. Kind of lost track of time, played a little too much. We got a code for Far Changing Tides, and you can see that video over on our YouTube channel. I beat that game this week. It's not very long. Really,
5.5 hours.
5.5. I've seen. I had to use a YouTube walkthrough for a couple of parts, not very many, but they did it in 3 hours and 18 minutes. And I feel like that was kind of like they probably knew what they were doing and were going straight through. But this is a direct sequel to Far Lone Sails. If you've not played that one, I don't think you're going to get as much out of this one in a way. I mean, you don't have to, but I would recommend it. Far Lone Sails is both games you are the only character. That's it. There's no other interaction with anybody. It's just you and a machine out in the wild, right? And in the first game, it's a machine on wheels, and you are working to get this from point A to point B. And so over time, you will feed the machine fuel, and you will pump things to make it work. And you'll have to repair it if you mess up, and you'll add things to it that will help you get further. In Far Changing Tides, obviously it's in the water. So the element here is that you actually you're controlling this thing that is a boat, but that at the same time you are a little more active in this one than you were in the last one. You're diving into the water, you're going looking for fuel and things to put in the boat, and it's just both of them are super charming. The way they do it is so well done. These are two of my favorite games that I've played on the Switch, and they're just absolute gems. You need to check them out. And Lone Sails actually goes on sale pretty often. It was just on sale for $2.99 a couple weeks ago, so it's a steal of a deal. Another game I want to mention is
John. You kind of perked up when he said Skull. What's your experience with that? You seem to enjoy that.
I love Skull. I haven't beaten it. It was something I played on Game Pass. I echo Marty's sentiments. It's really fun. the different power-ups you get, like there's like 30 or something different heads you can find. Some of them are way better than others. They have sort of a common, rare, unique, legendary, I think is the scale that they do there. And it's random. It's a roguelite, 2D pixel, kind of action game. Really, it's difficult. Have you been? Did you get to beat the first boss yet, Marty?
Yes.
The tree?
Yeah.
No,
big,
not the
big
tree either. Well, no, I made it. Okay, so
the mini boss.
Yggdrasil is the big boss. I got to him. I got about halfway down and lost. I beat the first like mini boss.
Yeah. And then the
like
mini
the
boss
knight
will
with
change.
the mace.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
he'll
he'll change.
The first
guy with
the first
mace
time
is
I
good.
played, the first time I fought him, he was called Rookie Hero, and he beat me. It was terrible.
Yeah, it's really fun. All the items you get, every playthrough is so different because eventually you start getting guys who will come back to that little starting area and they'll give you a head to start with. I don't know if you've gotten that one yet.
I rescued like a fox archer guy, and he gave me
like a hunter.
He gave me the ant head. Yeah.
I imagine that's the guy from Tunic, just when he gets older, right?
Yeah.
But then you'll find like an ogre person that'll give you an item to start out with, so it'll like give you some bonus attack or magic or whatever. But yeah, it's super fun. It's very addicting. I was playing a bunch of that before my Game Pass subscription ran out, so once I go back to it, I'm going to try to keep
cool.
grinding out.
Cool.
It's great.
Another game that we've got a video up on our channel. I won't mention this for very long. It's just briefly, but I've been enjoying it. Is Dawn of the Monsters, which I was corrected. It's not War of the Monsters, as I said in the video. War of the Monsters is a PlayStation 2 3D monster fighting game that's really excellent. I love back in the day. But Dawn of the Monsters is by Way Forward. It's a brand new side-scrolling beat 'em up where you get to play as one of four characters, either a superhero who can giant size himself, a girl working a robot, or two monsters that have been like co-opted by the good guys who fight for them. The whole presentation is really, really well done. And it's a lot of fun. There's like different upgrades you can put on them and unlock. And it's got a really unique system for powering up. Like you fight and you get this like rage, but also as you fight and take damage, you can spend some of that rage to do like a kill animation on the monsters you're fighting, and it restores your health when you do that. But you have to balance it, like, oh, you can't do the rage moves if you do that too much. And so there's a challenge there. There's not very many power-ups in the game at all, but it has some great voice acting too. And so this is out right now. You can go check that out. The last game that I want to talk about is why I don't have I haven't been playing a lot of other games. Is that WWE 2? Yeah, it's Wordle. WWE 2K22 has come out, and I really fought on whether I was going to get this game because I'm a huge wrestling fan, but I have stopped watching all WWE programming in the last year. Just don't care for it anymore. I watch other stuff, do AEW mostly, but every year it seems like the 2K game sucks me in. I try to avoid it, or I say, oh, I'm not going to get it. And for a few years I didn't do 18 or 19. A bit for 20, and 20 was just this buggy mess. It was awful. And so they took a year off and did Battlegrounds instead. And they completely rebuilt this from the ground up. And that, like, they're saying, or their slogan marketing for this is it hits different, and it really does. Like, it's so good.
That's good to hear.
There's so much in this game. I'm playing on PS5, so it looks amazing. The roster is huge. And as of like 3 days ago, I logged into the community creations part of it, and there was already over 5,500 community creations that had been uploaded.
Of course.
So the community for it is extremely strong. And there's some stuff out there that is extremely well done. like it feels like it belongs in the game. Like, so
Nice.
characters that aren't there at all, like, or that, like they got released or they're in another company, well, now they're in my game. And one of the things that's really cool is there is a story mode that you can do that's either focused around one specific wrestler and it's famous moments from his career. It's Rey Mysterio. What I thought was so well done with this is that as you play those, they're actually bouncing back and forth between you playing the game, which looks amazing, to literally splicing a video of the match in at the time, like with button presses and all. So it's going back and forth between video of matches and commentary and like Rey Mysterio talking about, hey, I was in this match and this is happening and this is why, you know, and it's super cool. And you unlock things through that. But then the other thing that you can do is there's a mode called My Rise, which you create a character. So you can create yourself, you can create whoever, and you take them through like becoming a wrestler and rising through to become like a superstar. And they literally say at the beginning, there's 10 save slots here because there's so many branches in this story that like, if you make a decision here, you may never see this, and this. So you may want to save it and come back to it. And so and that's on top of like having an ongoing My Universe mode where you can use a creative wrestler and it just puts you through stuff constantly all the time. So
sounds cool.
It is. It's really good. Like I did not expect to like it as much as I did, but it feels like it just feels good. I'm planning on creating all of us. We're going to have the Nintendo Dads Battle Royale to see who is the cage match to see who is the winner.
I just to let you know, I like being a high flyer type person.
Okay. High flyer. We'll call you the flying beard. That's what.
Okay, there we go.
My son is in the chat right now. Which why are you still awake? Number one, but he is also reminding me that he downloaded a character the other day. He downloaded Shrek in the game with Nicolas Cage's face. And the character's name is Nicholas Shrek because you can actually take your face. You can take a photo of your face and put it in the game and it will map your face to your character.
That's awesome.
Like you could take logos, you could put all kinds of stuff in this game. So
you're gonna need pictures of our faces then in order to create the characters.
That's like on top of the legends and stuff that you can unlock and just
that's awesome. I'm sold.
There's tons of content.
I'm sold.
And it's on last gen systems too. So PS4, Xbox One, it's there too.
Okay.
It's not coming to Switch. They would not be able to put this. So yeah.
Probably
anyway,
good idea.
it's I put at least an hour into this game every day, just messing around, playing matches.
Is there online wrestling play at all?
Yeah.
And is it cross-platform?
It is cross-platform, and the creations are cross-platform as well. So if somebody's creating on an Xbox, they are actually uploading it to a server where you can access it on a PS5.
Nice
as well, which is really cool. It's the first time that's happened. And the online matches,
look into this for the
online matches like cycle each day. So like they have like a match of the day. So like it's like, oh, it's a cage match, 1-on-1. You can only use a female wrestler, and there's like it's this time limit or something like that. So it's pretty neat. It's out there. You can go check it out, guys. That's what we've been playing. Let's turn on the community spotlight, shall we?
Before we move on, I wanted to throw in that when Tim and I played Inscription a few months ago, they had a mode called Casey's Mod that was in beta. So if people wanted to say I want to try this, they had to go in and say I'll accept beta content. So because of that, I avoided it. I just didn't want to play it until it was ready. It launched today, so I updated it. I plan on giving the Casey's Mod a try probably this weekend, so I'll be able to talk about that next week.
For Inscription?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like Act 1, but an endless mode.
Did anybody also have like all of a sudden Casey's mom has got it going on stuck in your head? Or is it just
I think just you.
No, apparently not.
no,
I'm with you.
what I was thinking is I have absolutely zero clue what any of you are talking about. But anyway, with that being said, let's hit the community spotlight. Of course, this week we turn the community spotlight and shine it brightly at Hambone Johnny, who is our guest on the show, joining us. Johnny, it's not a stretch to say right now you're everywhere, right?
Basically everywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I also would like to report to you that the Hambone hotline has been created.
I saw that.
And in the Discord, and you already have questions.
Yeah.
You already have
send them my way.
So there's a market for this. Okay. There's a market for this. But what we wanted to do is just kind of give people an idea of if they're sitting here and they're listening, they're like, oh, I gotta have more of that Hambone.
Yeah.
I gotta have it. Where can people find you regularly? What are you up to? How can they interact with you?
Yeah, well, thank you for the platform. Definitely appreciate that. I am Hambone Johnny on Twitter and on Twitch. I stream twice a week on Wednesdays and Sunday nights around 9 p.m. Right now, I actually have a stream of Super Mario Galaxy 2 going. So I'm most of the way through that game. So I try to play something more retro focused on Wednesdays, and then Sundays sort of a free for all night, whatever I'm sort of playing at that time, whether it's more of that retro game or something more recent. I snuck in a stream of Elden Ring earlier this week. I was sporting my sweet pumpkin helmet. If anyone wants to go check that out, I've got the VOD out there.
Do you have a higher resolution capture device, or are you just lowering it to 1080p so you can stream?
Lowering it to 1080p.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I've got so far. We'll see. I'm coming up on my 1 year anniversary of streaming. I started in May or June of last year. So slowly growing a following out there in Twitch. I'm closing in on 100 followers. So we'll see. But I'm having a good time with that. And hit me up on the Hambone hotline. Send me your questions. Yes. I'm happy to give advice. I don't know how valid or good that will be, but it might be entertaining. So take your pick. And
it's going to become a regular thing. I feel it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Robo Jesse did, and that surprised all of us.
Let's do it. This is good vibes. So yeah, thank you.
Outstanding. Okay. And you also brought a question. You brought a question for us.
I did. So since I've been so deep into the Elden Ring universe, I've kind of been paying attention to the news. And something that caught my eye the other day was apparently the speed run for this game is now under 30 minutes. Or the other day it was like 33 minutes. I just saw some alert that said it was like 28 minutes. And I don't know, when I hear somebody says, I beat the game in 20 minutes, I did this speed run, to each their own, right? Let me first say that. But for someone to say that they beat the game with glitches and, kind of cheesing it out in that way, something just doesn't sit right with me personally. Like, sure, you roll the credits, great. And I think that's really awesome. It takes a ton of skill to be doing that. So don't really take away from this person. But I think there's a big difference between beating a game and doing a speed run. So I was curious to see, what are your guys' thoughts as it pertains to something like that?
Jesse, I know you follow a lot of speedrun stuff. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, that's why speedruns have different categories within a game. So, some might, the ones that have the smallest time are generally called any percent. And, they'll let you, break the game any way you can break it, as long as you can roll credits. Like, our Link to the Past has a pretty easy to pull off one. Even Matthew's done it, and he did it for us during An Extra Life, like 4 years ago, where he played Link to the Past in like 5 minutes and rolled credits, literally.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, so, and like Mario 64 is another one that's commonly done. They have like 16-star runs, 1-star run, with the reverse long jump, I think what they call it, where Mario's backing up
Mhm.
above to going to like an infinite velocity to bypass the infinite stairs early. So things like that. So like
Oh,
depending on the game, some of the categories are no glitch runs. You got to do it all. You have to hit all the bosses in some way. Some are 100% runs. You have to hit all the bosses and collect every little thing you can possibly collect. Like an Ocarina of Time might be like have a 100% run where you have to have all the hearts or all the items. So it depends on the game. Each game's community kind of sets its own rules, but once rules are established, they are very strict on them, and the moderators in those communities are usually really good at doing that. Like if someone's found cheating, like by taking two partial gameplays and splicing them together, and if they're caught, not only will that run be banned, but any previous and future will likely be banned from that user. So yeah, usually each of those communities maintain their own rules and do a pretty good job with it. So I might want to check to see if Elden Ring, like speedrun.net, maybe, I don't remember what one of the common ones are. See if Elden Ring has multiple categories to see what they're doing.
do you feel though that it's considered maybe beating the game is the wrong term? Maybe it's just completing the time or something like that. What other term could be better said? Because beating the game, as we feel, is like you said, rolling credits or completing the story. And I guess it just depends on the game what you consider beating the game or rolling the credits. But in this case, it's more of they successfully did their speed run, not necessarily beat the game, but they successfully did their speed run, I would say, is the better way of saying that, right? So what do you all think?
Well, like Mario Brothers, the original Mario Brothers is a good one. While the world record runs don't break the game so bad that they skip levels, they still hit every level that you normally would be hitting, including warp zones. But little things they do within a level would be things that would exploit the glitch, like letting you go down to a pipe and go to a different area than normal, or glitch the flagpole so you advance without having to do the falling animation to save a second and a half, things like that.
Right. Well, and stuff like that where you're taking advantage of a glitch just to get to the end of the game to roll credits, then you're not beating it to see a story. Well, I mean, Mario, I don't think there's much of a story there, right? But if there's a story, you're missing it. Right. You're not playing it for the story. You're again playing it for the speed run.
Right. But like using the flagpole examples, if I were to do a run with warp zones, I hit the exact same levels that they're hitting. They're just doing things that shave time off.
Okay.
I think it all depends on what you want to do. Like, where do you find value in your gaming, right? Is it, hey, I want to see a story through, right? I want to, because I mean, the other argument of this could be like, people could be, hey, if I just mainline Legend of Zelda, right? Like Breath of the Wild, and I finish off the 4 champions and I go kill Ganon and I get the story, I'm good. Where someone else could say, no, you haven't finished the game, right? You have so many other things out there, right? But you're like, but for me, I'm okay with that. Like, where's the balance? I think when it comes to speed running, I think it's what do you value the game for? Do you value it for story? Do you value it for experience? I think in speed running, it's skill, right? It's a puzzle. It's kind of like the Rubik's Cube, right? Like, can I do this faster than anybody else? There's a bit of like pride, I guess I would say, or like competitiveness in regards to it. So I think it's really about the lovely part of it again being is like, we can look at games just as a general broad statement, broad brush, and then realize that it can be so many different things to so many different people in different ways. You can look at the exact same game and all three of us could have this tremendous value, right? Like for me, Breath of the Wild, man, I want the story. That's what I'm there for. Tim's like, I'm there for the completionism part of it. I want all of it, right?
I'm in it for
Jesse's
the exploration.
Like, no, I'm a speedrunner. I want to finish it in 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like, so this one thing that we all value, that we all enjoy, can be enjoyed and be different to all of us in different ways, which I think is kind of cool. Like, I appreciate the creativity of it. I wonder, the question that I ask, John, is how does the artist feel about it? How does the developer feel about it? Right. Because when I guess there's two parts of this, right? Which is, you've spent time and energy to craft this world, build the story, build all these things, time, energy, sweat, right? Resources to create this tree, the storyline, this branching path, this narrative, all these things. And the person's like, no, I just want to figure out where the bug is that I can like jump through 5 levels and kill a guy with a sword. Right. And you're like, but you're totally missing like everything. Like, it's kind of like, I went to a museum to see the Mona Lisa. I actually just came for the pretzels. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're like, well, hold on a second. These are two different things. So
like, I'd be curious about like an actual Cliff Notes.
How a developer, how a designer, how a company feels about the difference there.
I have seen some videos where it's developer reacts to speedruns of their game. And most of the time, they are amused and excited and happy to see that people are so dedicated to understanding the intricacies of their game that they are willing to break it down to its knees. And like a lot of times, people will say, "I didn't even know that bug was there,"
right?
And things like that. So, but they're generally happy that people are willing to dig that deep into their game.
But so, John, I think what it came down to, though, was the terminology used. Maybe it was bothering you, like that person saying, "I beat the game."
And you know, let me say again. I mean, send all your hate mail to Hambone's hotline. So feel free to hit me up there. But yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but I just kind of question the terminology. Did you really beat the game if you glitched your way through to the end to see the credits in 20
another
minutes?
Way to think about it is, in order for a person to understand the game enough to break the game to see credits and that fast, they still have had to play it the traditional way first. You don't just learn the glitches. You learn the game first.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
Very cool. Marty, anything?
No, man. I've just sat back and enjoyed hearing this because I don't speed run anything. I don't.
Right. Yeah.
Unless it's Mega Man 2, and I probably can't even do that. Like,
I've been speed running Breath of the Wild for 5 years.
Yeah, so. I know. You're getting close, man.
You don't have to specify the speed, you know. It's just you're moving forward. Yeah, I speed run the bridge after work.
Slow running.
My speed
Breath of the Wild.
You're taking the tortoise approach. Well, whereas the rest of us took the hare approach.
I do like, it's funny because I do like having this conversation. It does make me think. And I think, you know, we talked a little bit about it early about like, you know, FOMO and when a game comes out, but like so often game drops on Friday and everyone's like, yeah, I finished it by Sunday. And you're like, wow, like, did you enjoy that? Right. Did you savor that? Did you like it's kind of like you went to a restaurant and you just like swallow the food, but like, did you taste it at all? Or did you just swallow it?
I did that with Samus Returns. It came out it dropped on midnight, you know, going into a Friday. I've just gotten done with the show. It came out. I downloaded it, had it preloaded on my 3DS. There it is. So I tried it. It worked. So I stayed up, played a few hours, played it all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, every chance that I got, and finished it on Monday afternoon. Did I enjoy it? Absolutely, I did. Was I looking to speed run it? No, I couldn't put it down. Like same thing for Metroid Dread. I could not put it down once I started it.
Yeah, kind of the same with me with Arceus. You know.
Yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily call that speed running. I wouldn't say we didn't enjoy it. It's just this game is great, and I want to keep playing it.
Right, like with Arceus, I beat it in like 3 or 4 weeks, which for a lot of people that's fast. Is it a speed run? Hell no. But I put 95 hours into it in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked up the Dread's record for an 80%. It's 71 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
don't know. It's one of those things that I've been, and it's always funny because everyone busts Tim's chops for where he is for Breath of the Wild. I haven't finished it yet either, and yet no one's busted my chops, which I appreciate. But I've said that before. Of like, the reason I've taken my time with it is I really want to like just savor the experience and enjoy it and not be forced. But then I also sometimes feel like if we're not finishing something, are we like not in that conversation? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to use Tunic as a great example, right? That's where right now the conversation is in gaming. So do we all vest in that for the next 4 days and so that we're part of that conversation? Do you know what I mean? So we feel like we're engaged, or do we finish those games at our pace and what makes us happy?
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Whatever makes you happy, right? At the end of the day, however you experience a game, whatever type of game it is, I think that's all individual and however anyone wants to experience it, which is the beauty of gaming.
Yeah.
Very cool topic there, John. That was awesome.
I looked at
Thanks.
the record
Absolutely.
for a 100% collection run of Metroid Dread, an hour 48.
Wow.
Wow.
That's some
That's-
skill.
That's all of that's super impressive.
Right. All right. Well, since we're here in the community spotlight, I'll mention the NINDADS family of podcast updates that we have so far. So real quick, of course, we have Retro Logic, we have Dad's After Dark Show, and we have Game Pass News. All other podcasts, all highlighting different topics, like the Retro Logic crew. That's Dan, DatFast John, Third Strongest Mole Sam. In fact, John, you, like we said last week, you were on their show, last episode. This week it was their special guest was Octo Rock 1982 and Retro Groove Pod. From the Retro Groove Pod, he joined in, and I just making a quick note here. They talked about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Cowabunga collection hype, and they talk about bananas. So very important topics. Make sure you go to listen to Retro Logic for to hear those topics. And don't forget, they also have the retrologic.games website where they have a blog as well. So, and then Dad's After Dark Show, episode 95 dropped. Which style open world game does John and Drew prefer? They talk about that. Drew looks back on his correspondences with Nintendo Power. And then they have another very special gauntlet, which was Drew running through that gauntlet. And their booty bracket went live. So if you heard me talking about that last week, that is live. So if you want to go vote on the hottest video game characters, go check out the Dad's After Dark Show on Twitter and vote there. Or you can hit them up on their, I think it's a Google form that they have a survey that you can vote on too.
If you fill out the form and I'll leave your email address, you'll be in you'll be eligible.
Got another voter for the booty bracket.
A $20 eShop prize. Google
wanted to say something about that apparently. But yeah, you get eShop for 20 eShop card for $20. So yeah, that's cool. And then Game Pass News episode 44 dropped. I think it's 44 or 45. Might be 45. I think I forgot to update that. But they talked about Nick and Sean talked about Halo Infinite Season 2 arrives. Sans co-op. So they chatted about that. GTA 5 gets upgraded on Xbox Series. They talk about that. And then Sean joins the Tarnished and buys Elden Ring, and they talk about that, as well as, of course, games they loved on Game Pass that dropped there. So all that stuff and much, much more. Go download their shows, and don't forget to review them too, and not just us, but them. Give them some love on their reviews.
Awesome. A few questions from the community. We'll start with a question from Discord. Andros, Justin's best friend, he asks us, all the Nintendo dads are suddenly retiring from the podcast to start a new venture as full-time voice actors for a new animated Zelda show, but each of you needs to pick a replacement for yourself. Who comes in as the new cast of Nintendo dads? Then he goes on to say, I'll also add in the clause that you can't replace everyone with robots of themselves like Robo Jesse, although that would be really cool. And TX Trey adds another little modifier to this. What characters are you voicing? So let's just start here, Justin. Who's replacing you on the show, and who you voicing?
Oh my gosh. Who's replacing me on the show? I'm gonna say an angry Muppet. Just a really angry Muppet.
Bork, bork.
Yeah, kind of thing. And I'm gonna voice every single NPC character. That's what I'm gonna do.
Every person you run into is going to be like, well, I got a schwack load of bombs here, eh?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it's gonna go.
Sure. Look at we're having a problem here at Elden Volcano.
Mm-hmm. That's how it's gonna go.
All right, Tim, who's replacing you and who you're voicing?
How do I follow that up? I don't know how to follow that up. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I wasn't even thinking of like where Justin went with that, with like a Muppet. I was actually thinking actual people. So I'm going to stick with that because I can't think of anything else on the fly like that. So John, you're going to replace me. You're going to replace me. And then
I got to work on the beard.
Yes. So, and then I'm going to do the voicing of the goblin. I'm gonna be a goblin. That's what I'll voice.
Just a goblin, just random goblin. 34.
Random, yeah, goblin number 33.
Goblin 33. Okay. All right. I can get down with that. Okay. Jesse, do you have an answer for us? Who replaces you and who you voicing?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe my son could replace me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He just
the Waldack lineage continues in podcasting.
Yeah. He just needs to get out of a
Does he know how to run a soundboard?
I'm sure he can figure it out. He
Wait a second. So you're saying there's someone else that could run a soundboard?
Well, he's only.
Oh, this changes everything. This definitely changes our one-on-ones this week.
He has a
get HR on the phone. Get the HR on the phone. We might make a replacement here.
You can't replace the 7-year employee of the year.
How do you ensure he doesn't get 8 years? You replace him now. You know what I'm saying?
And I have always thought I've had an unusual voice. What I found in most podcasts, and I'm sure it's not planned this way, it just happens to be. Most people have a normal, quote unquote, normal sounding voice, but one just has an odd voice for some reason, be it an English accent or just really deep or something. I think in this cast I'm the one with the weird voice. I don't know why, but so I think we would a voice to for like some Goron, like I don't know, some named Goron, high end character of the show. Supporting cast of Link.
Gotcha. Hambone, who you got? I mean, you're not a permanent cast member, but we can talk about who you would voice on the show.
I was kind of hoping I could pick voice who all you guys would voice, because I've got some thoughts there.
Yeah, let's hear that too.
So I think Marty would be Tingle. I think he would be a good Tingle voice.
I love where this is going already. I love this.
Yeah. Justin's definitely Beetle.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. Tim, I'm gonna give you Prince Sidon.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
And Jesse, you get to be Link, because I really want to hear your grunts and your thrust sounds and all that. Yeah.
Like it.
Never thought that we would hear Jesse's thrust sounds.
That's awesome.
See, I was gonna say that for me, the person that would replace me on the show would be the American Dream, baby. We resurrect him up from the dead. He'd come back. He'd be so excited about all the games and everything. He'd talk about the video games. He'd talk about all the wrestling game. Come get him the plunder, baby. But really, I was going to voice Link because I've been practicing for this for a long time. I love to annoy my family. I love to annoy my family by doing my Link impression at random times, just whenever, like, we'll be in a store and I'll do it. Or we'll be at the car, like we'll be in the car. My wife will just be asleep and I'll just go, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like what? This Link doesn't have to talk. He just has to sound like he's projectile vomiting for everything he's doing. Up,
Yeah.
up,
Yeah, so that little sound bit I did earlier when I went you hear that like if he lands in lava and bounces off or something.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was just a weird noise, but what I found out over watching anime as long as I have, that's basically the normal Japanese, like we would say ow ow ow. That's what the ow 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 is in Japanese.
I don't
It's
know.
starting to lean towards Popeye, but no, but
Mine was a little over the
you
top.
get where I was trying to get at.
I'm also going to say this about the replacing the Nintendo dads. A couple of things I would say here. First, I would say that any idiot with an opinion on Nintendo can replace us. So there isn't much of a prerequisite, right? So I'm going to say that right now.
The other thing, dress your dog up in a Captain America costume and put them on here, and they would, it would be a dog.
And I think I'm going to just a side kind of like moment on this. I think the beautiful part that I'm going to say about our community that I love is that I think if any of us decided to leave and we said, hey, we've got an open seat, would anyone be interested? I think there is a bunch of people who'd be happy to raise their hand and say, this is something that I would like to do now going forward. And I think that happens for any of us. So I think that any of us can be easily replaced by a Muppet with a loud opinion about something. So, and I think that just speaks the testament of our community. Like John could jump in here and do this. If we were like, hey, John, congratulations. You're now the host of Nintendo Dads. The show's yours, right? Like I have faith in him, right? I don't have faith in Andros, but I have faith in John. And I just want to make sure that's clear. I want to make sure that's dead clear, Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. But I will say that we've got to work on this. We've got to work on this beard policy. Like if you come on the show, you have to have grown some respectable facial hair.
I have been checking in our HR agreements. That is not in there. I hate that you bring this up on our meetings every single week. You talk about this. That's not true.
We're slipping.
I've looked at our employee handbook. It is not mandatory at all.
Well, you would think it is if you look at us. But let's move on. Let's get this next question. Seth Sturgill, Sturgeon. I don't know. I say it wrong every time. I'm sorry, Seth. Sorry. He says this. It's not a question, but it's just a comment. He says, love me some Hambone Johnny.
Nice.
Love it. Love Seth.
There you go. All right. Nobody ever declares their love for me in the comment section.
I love you too, Marty.
That's just pity, John. That's just a pity love. Like, you don't need to drop it down to that level. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to do that for him.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right. Well, we're going to hear about it now all week.
It's the same level of pity that I hear in my wife's voice when I say I love you, and she's like, "Yeah, I love you too."
Ouch! Both shame, regret, and realization. I'm stuck.
It's 20 years in. It's like, I love you. I'd kill you. Anyway, here, Seth just has questions for you, Hambone. It's just for you. He doesn't care about us. Well, here's what he says. First, did those miners deserve it? Did they deserve it? He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they definitely deserved it. This is an Elden Ring reference. I just went in kind of aggressive into a mine situation, and these guys just looked like they were asking for it. So a couple backstabs later, I walked out with some smithing stones, and boom, baby, I got a +10 sword now. So
as you do.
I'm happy.
Wow.
Ruthless.
What's the saying? What's the saying? If you something about living long enough to see yourself become the villain.
That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
I thought it was if you don't stab me, I stab you. I figured it was the other motto.
That's pretty much how it goes.
He does ask a second question. He says, how are you finding Super Mario Galaxy 2? And where does it rank for you among the 3D Marios?
Number one, ranks my favorite 3D Mario of all time. I've got a lot of love for Odyssey, a lot of love for Mario 64. But I haven't gone back and played Super Mario Galaxy 2 since Odyssey had come out. And in my mind, this game was always my favorite 3D Mario. And this was sort of a test to see, like, all right, how does this hold up? And it holds up great. It's a wonderful game. I think not to take anything away from Odyssey at all. I just think that the bosses, the power-ups that you get in Galaxy 2 are just like way more inventive. I think the platforming in and of itself in Odyssey stands on its own, but I think from a Mario game, the whimsicalness of Galaxy 2, I mean, you're flying around on a face ship through the world. Like, come on. It's amazing. But yeah, I love it. It's my favorite one.
Here's the problem I had with Mario Galaxy 2 then and now is Galaxy came out and they made Rosalina like the center of the universe, right? Like they made it was Rosalina this and Rosalina that, and then they trade her in for a fat star for no reason. Like they just trade her in for a fat star pirate captain, and
you get a plump purple fat star.
Like I just there wasn't a lot of logic behind that to me. That's just me, but anyway.
I mean, I'll say Galaxy, the original Galaxy, has a better presentation. I think has a lot more charm with the observatory. From a pure gameplay perspective and the power ups and all that stuff, Galaxy 2 takes the cake for me.
Gotcha. Justin's going to drop off. Thanks, Justin, for being on the show this week.
You're welcome, guys. Have a great night. John, thanks for being here. And awesome. Thank you so much for all your support you do for the community as well. You are a true gentleman and a scholar. And we are raising your placard above Jesse's any day. That is what I would say. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
See ya.
Yeah. See you, Justin. Let's go through these last two questions. We're going to kind of buzzsaw through these. Dads After Dark Show asks, who's the best Mario Kart player among the dads? Well, it's definitely not Justin. Since he's gone, it's me.
Yeah, so definitely not me because I don't own the game.
Yeah, so Jesse's out. So then it comes down between me and Tim. And
I don't play it enough, so I know I would not.
I don't either. There's nothing like thinking you're great at Mario Kart, and there's nothing like going online to prove that you're absolute trash. Right?
Yep.
When I play with like my students and I play with my kids and other people, I'm always first. So
right.
I guess that.
Yeah, I tried to play when Sean does his Sean Capri when he's done it a few times and played against him, and I'm fighting for like the last 4 spots in the track, trying to because I'm just trying to figure.
What I find
I haven't played
this game is
I don't play all the time. So
if you get far enough back, like that, you're like midway back or halfway back, you're never going to get back to the front.
No, you're not.
It's when you get back. Nope. I call it gen pop. When you get back in the general populace. You're done. You're done. You got to get
the better items though. So at least that's fun. You get a star.
It doesn't matter because you have everybody has all those better items and they're going to war with like the last 7 people on the track.
Yeah.
Right. I do have to say though, I'm looking forward to these new tracks because it kind of levels the playing field a little bit there. So it's new to everybody.
For about 2 days.
For about 2 days. Listen, I've got to be honest that I love this comment in the chat. Andros is in the chat. And he says, nothing like thinking you're great and then playing against Andros. So now he's talking about himself in the third person and using his own emojis that look like him.
Right. Hey man, you got to own it, right?
You got to own it.
Lean in.
Listen, to be the man, you got to beat the man, right?
That's right.
Right. That would have been a good place for the woo. Woo! There we go. Solo something asked this. Hambone was the first I reached out to in the Discord for pointers in Mario Kart since I had a little experience. He was super helpful and offered to join up to help off online. Running a lot of time trials myself got me wondering who enjoys time trials and who hates tiny wheels.
I don't do time trials. That's a good idea, though, to try to use that.
I did do the time trials when there was the big monthly mayhem, like the big bracket that had like all kinds of different things, and one of them was time trials. I did them then, and I realized that I'm terrible at Mario Kart.
I and the tiny wheels, I like throwing those on just for a good laugh because they look silly on a car sometimes, on a cart. So I'll throw those on.
Oh, that's awesome! It's the original Hambone helpline. Question right there.
There you go.
I'm a slick wheels guy. That's usually my go-to. But yeah, I like the time trials. They're fun. I think it's a good way to kind of test out those shortcuts and that kind of thing. But,
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's what I know. I usually, because I like when I'm watching other people play and I'm on them and And if I'm trying to race, I see them taking those shortcuts. And I'm like, hey, they just went that. What?
Yeah,
Where'd
where
that
did
shortcut
they
come from?
I don't know where any shortcuts are. I'm just driving straight ahead. I'm like Tim playing F-Zero-X. I'm like, hold down press the gas and go.
Just go. Go.
We also are going to round out our time here in the community spotlight with a voicemail from Mecha Dragon 101.
Yeah, I'm not sure how clear this will sound, but hopefully it'll give us a play.
Hello, Nintendo Dads. It's me, Mecha Dragon 101, for a voice message this week, since Tim was actually for them last week, and I wanted to oblige and help him out. So, my question for you guys this week is, are you guys able to basically separate the art from the artist and enjoy a company's game despite the actions of the company themselves? So, like a recent example would be the new Harry Potter game coming up for PS5, and everyone's a fan of it, but it's weird because when that game got announced, everyone was like, I want to buy this game because of J.K. Rowling, but it looks like a good game. Or in my case, I still play Overwatch from time to time despite the whole controversy going on with Blizzard and Activision right now. Yeah, basically, what's your guys' take on this? Do you still enjoy a game? Do you still try to enjoy a game despite what's going on? And are you able to just separate the artist from the artist? I know there's a limit between that, but it sounds like a good question to ask. So, yeah, sorry for me rambling on having to send a voice message in a while. So hopefully you get the message. Looking forward to the podcast tonight, guys. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, so if you weren't able to hear that, his question is, and it is a great question, can you separate the art from the artist? In other words, like with the new Harry Potter game that's coming out, there's obviously some controversy around J.K. Rowling and some things there in the community. Are you able to separate that and still enjoy the game and be able to like keep that maybe in compartmentalized, or do you need to, like in the case of Activision, can we enjoy Activision Blizzard games with a clean conscience? So yeah, that could be like a whole show. Okay. Like this could be a whole show.
That's a good topic. Yeah.
Could I do this? Could we do this? Because here's the deal.
Let's stew on it for a week.
Yeah. And here's why, because this is not just, it's not just a gaming question. I think it ends up becoming a super politicized question. And what I don't want us to do is I don't want us to say anything that would be harmful or out of line to people just because we're getting that question like boom right here. Because I have a knee-jerk reaction, and I'm sure a lot of people do when they hear this or hear anything like this. But I think this is something that we need to move to next week's Let's Discuss part of the show. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah. I do have a few quick things I wanted to say, which I think they're safe. They're pretty political free. But there's more to this game than just Rowling. You look at the credits, there'll be 300 people on it. And she may have some say in the story. I don't know. I haven't researched this game. So, in that case, how she thinks doesn't affect whether I would enjoy this game or not. I would enjoy this game or not based on the merits of said game. Other companies that are known to have problems, especially in the upper management, that is different. I'll leave it at that, and we'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah.
And also to answer your question, Jesse, according to the state of play, they talked to the developers, and what they were saying is they didn't call out J.K. Rowling's at all, but they were saying they went back and reread the books several times when developing the game. So the books were references, not the author.
Okay. And that's, I think some people would think that would be a good thing.
Yeah.
I think there's some people who, and not to jump into it because we are going to talk about it next week and not to jump into it too deeply.
Yeah.
But I do think that there are some people who definitely feel like to accept one part is to accept the whole. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Yep.
But I think that can also be like, and I think that can be true. So hear me when I say it, like, I think there can be some truth to that. But I also think that there's that can be, and I'm trying to tread lightly here because again, I don't want to question on a podcast that's supposed to be fun to make people mad, right?
But you got time to think about it if you want to wait till next week.
Well, no, what I want to say is this: is I think that that while that can be a valid argument, there's also some fallacies in that argument that you can go and you can run wild with. Okay. So, without getting too deep into it, I think we'll cover this next week. Mecha Dragon, this is an incredibly timely and excellent question from you. So don't hear us putting you off. Just know that we want to think about it and we want to respond in a way that would not only honor the question, but also honor and kind of take into consideration every single person that listens to Nintendo Dads. Because ultimately, this is not a show about politics or things that are politicized in today's culture. It's a show about video games and being dads. So
video games.
Sadly, lots of things are politicized today. Everything's political.
There's that middle ground where politics meets games that sometimes we can't not talk about it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think we need to talk about it, but I also think that, we need some time. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up episode 367. We're going back in time, way far in time. And we want to thank our special guest, Hambone Johnny, doing the podcast tour, for spending some time with us and hanging out here tonight. Johnny, thank you so much.
On this special extended version of our episode.
Remind us again, remind people again where they can find you if they want to interact with you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch or on the Nintendo Dads Discord at Hambone Johnny, streaming Wednesday and Sunday nights, kind of hanging out. Welcome, awesome, one and all.
Yeah,
they can find you in any Discord pretty much now.
I'm all over the place.
Not only is he on every podcast, he's in every Discord. As we close out the show, we want to say a huge thanks to our faithful fans and followers, not just our patrons, but all of our fans. Thank you guys for making every bit of this a complete success. Without you, we don't have anything. Over on YouTube, we're now over 6,000 followers and climbing. On Twitch, over 1,200 followers and climbing. And we want to say thanks to our 31 Twitch subscribers who also get access to our Discord community and activities. But also a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger, Antonio Contronio, and Solo Something. Thank you guys for backing at that level. And thank you to each and every one of you, whatever level you back at. You're part of the Nintendo Dads family, and we appreciate you and love you so much, and we're thankful for you. Remember, you can head over to manscaped.com and use the code NINDADS, that's NINDADS, to get 20% off and free shipping. You can also head over to Goodr, that's GOODR.com, and use the code NINDADS to get some percentage off some very cool glasses. And also, don't forget, check out our social media profiles for our partnership with Glitch to get some percentage off your gaming drinks over there. They're very good, very, very good. So you can go and save some dough by using the code NINDADS and using our link. We want you to check out our website at nintendodads.org. That's where you can find all of our latest posts and videos and podcast episodes, links to social media, Patreon page, Nintendo Dads shop, all that. You can find us at most places just by typing in Nintendo. Just type in Hambone Johnny, you can type in Nintendo Dads. Boom. There we are. Email us like several of you did at nintendodads@gmail.com, or call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Want to say a big thanks to OC Remix for the music used throughout the show. And a reminder, wherever you listen to this audio version of the podcast, be sure to go to that platform if you can. Give us a 5-star review and write down some words about what you like about the show. It helps people find us, and it sends us shooting up the charts, just like we're about to be shooting through some courses here on this new Mario Kart DLC that is now available. For me, for Justin, for Tim, for Jesse, and our guest, Hambone Johnny, this has been episode 367. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Night.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Nintendo Dads.